should have released the hostage. Yeah, Historically White says, oh, they should have released the hostages. Yeah, the Catholic Church should have just released the hostages. And that never would have happened. So then, if you've ever wondered what the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro thinks of Christians and what Israel thinks of Christians, you're about to find out in these next two clips just what they think of us. Pope Leo gave a prayer. We played it this morning where he says, war is not the way, peace is the way because it is the will of God. And he gave this great sermon about how war is wrong and we're for peace. God, peace is what God wants. All of this stuff. It was beautiful, beautiful words. And the Daily Wire just goes on and takes the Pope's speech and calls him a girl. Andrew Klavan, the fucking I think he's Shabbos Goy, right? He's not Jewish, is he? I'm not sure. But Andrew Klavan goes on and shits on the Pope. Meanwhile, if Israel bombs a fucking orphanage and you say that's terrible, these are the same guys who will call you anti-Semitic for calling out Israeli war crimes. But they can mock the Holy Father. So fuck this guy. Here we go. Andrew Klavan, who, by the way, is a complete charity case of the Daily Wire. This is what Ben Shapiro and the people who run the Daily Wire think of Christians and, well, their biggest threat, Catholics.
And the one that I think bothers me the most is using Jesus to make these cases.
That's what bothers him the most. You know what bothers this guy the most? Not the fact that we bombed a school. It's not the fact that we're killing civilians. It's not the fact that we started a war of choice and a war of aggression against a country that never attacked us. That's not what bothers him. What bothers him is that they use Jesus. What do you want us to use Jesus for? I mean, if we believe in Jesus Christ and we want to live in his image and we want to live by his example, yeah, we're not for bombing fucking school children. Sorry. I'm sorry that's inconvenient to you. And by the way, this is how people at the Daily Wire and Jewish people in general that make these kind of arguments, this is how they view Christians and Christianity and Jesus Christ especially. They're angry at him. They're jealous of them. They know they're outnumbered and they know they can't pull their bullshit when you raise the specter of Christ and Christianity at them. So what do they have to do? They have to try and belittle him. They have to try and mock him. They try to entice an angry reaction out of you. And, oh, that's not very Christian. Well, to go and make that argument and go, you know what I think is really unfair? Using Jesus as, oh, I'm sorry. So it's not okay that we use the Prince of Peace as an example of not wanting war? Wow, that must be really inconvenient for your empirical wants or imperial wants.
And I don't want to offend my Catholic friends and listeners.
Too fucking late, bitch.
Listeners, I consider myself a Catholic, though not a Roman Catholic.
You're out. Pope Leo's too nice to excommunicate you. I'm going to have to find somebody who'll do it for him.
But the Pope is out of line here.
I want you to hear. The Pope is out of line. By the way, when we clip this, I'm going to have so many comments. If this one takes off like the Rogan one, stop pausing it so much. Fuck you. I'm doing a show. If you want to go watch the Andrew Klavan show, go watch the Andrew Klavan show. Let me give you a spoiler alert. I'm making it watchable right now. So you're gonna tussle with the Pope on this now. Okay, go ahead, Andrew.
He's just wrong. I mean, I'm sorry. He weighed in on this on X. He says, I am following with deep concern what is happening in the Middle East and in Iran during this tumultuous time. Stability and peace are not achieved through mutual threats, nor through the use of weapons which sow destruction, suffering, and death, but only through reasonable, sincere, and responsible dialogue.
He's absolutely right. And with Iran, we have not practiced sincere, reasonable dialogue. It's been do everything we want you to do or we'll fucking bomb you. That is not reasonable, responsible, sincere dialogue. The Pope is right. If we had those things, we'd come to a deal. You know how I know that? Because we came to that deal before with the JCPOA. It worked.
And he followed it with this video, cut 8.
Would you imagine what a world without wars would be like?
I love when Pope Leo speaks his mother tongue. I always hear him speak in Italian. I love it when Pope Leo goes all in on English.
A world without the terror of approaching explosions, without rocket alarms shattering the silence of the night. Please join me this month in prayer for disarmament and peace.
So,
wow, so terrible for us to use the Easter season to pray for peace. And by the way, Andrew, I know you guys see everything as anti-Semitism. I know you guys see everything as everyone's against the Jews. But when the Pope says that, he's talking about Hezbollah and Hamas rockets coming into Israel too. He wants all the rockets and all the alarms and all the bombs to stop. What's your objection? Just be honest and say, my objection is I want Israel to settle the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and I want them to take out the Iranian regime. Just say that. You don't want to make that argument. You'd rather belittle the Pope's argument because you know your argument makes you look like a bloodthirsty savage, and the Pope look like the guy who's preaching the word of the Prince of Peace.
The problem with all this is that it's girly nonsense, basically.
Oh, the Pope's girly nonsense. You know what I think is girly nonsense? Supporting a war that you'll never go fight. Supporting a war that you're never going to go put yourself or your family members in harm's way for. I think that's kind of a girly notion. Klavan, get your ass over there. Go make soup or something on a aircraft carrier. Go to one of those military bases in UAE or Saudi Arabia and make the boys some sandwiches. I think that's kind of girly to sit in an office of an Israel First organization and talk about how other people should go fight the wars.
It's just not true.
You know what I think girly stuff is? Bombing a kid's school, a girl's school. I think that's kind of a bitch move.
I'm sorry, it's just not true. Sometimes stability and peace are achieved through mutual threats and the use of weapons which sow destruction, suffering, and death.
What a psychotic thing to say! You know what brings us peace? Just constantly threatening to kill each other. No, that's not peace. If you're living under threat, you don't have peace. We didn't have peace during the Cold War. You know, it was the war was in the title. You know what we had? Another day where we didn't commit the end of the world. That's what we had, one day at a time. Listen to these psychopaths and the way they talk. Yeah, you don't get peace by talking to each other and having reasonable dialogue and working out deals that work for everyone. You just fucking threaten people, and that's how you get peace. It's like we're run, our country is run, our world is run by psychos.
And reasonable, sincere, and responsible dialogue are useless when you're dealing with crazy people.
Right, I agree. When you're dealing with Israel and the United States and Iran, I love how Iran's always the only crazy people. Like, okay, one country has flattened an entire region in Gaza, and then on the other side, they kick people out of their multi-generational homes and give them 2 hours to pack their shit and leave, or they kill them. I would say those are unreasonable people. And then on the other side, you have another country that travels halfway around the world to occupy two different countries for over 2 decades. I'm sorry, Andrew, but we're not blameless in all this. That's just reality.
I mean, this is the thing about war. War is bad. It is always.
That's what the Pope said. Only difference between him and you is he believes it.
Bad. You don't fight it because you like it. You fight it because you have to.
We're fighting this war because we like it. You're making a point that is disproven by the very thing you're cheerleading. You're waging this war because you like it.
There may have been a time when Achilles was a warrior, when people were fighting with swords, where there was a certain athletic glory to it. Now, there's certainly a glory in the courage these people show and in the prowess they have with their weapons and in the amazing technology behind the weapons. I suppose there's some glory there. But
you want to jack off the Tomahawk missiles? God, what an absolute, what's the word they used to call him during the Iraq War days? A chicken hawk. Andrew Klavan is an absolute chicken hawk.
War is bad. You know, I do not want our young people dying in these wars. I get it. So we're not fighting it for fun, Mr. Pope. You know,
no, you're not. You're right. We're not fighting it for fun. We're fighting it because Israel wants it. And their Mossad blackmailed all of our leaders with underage sex.
Or holiness. That's not why we're doing it. Now, I'm not a theologian, and
no shit. Wow. There's the shock of the day for you. Hey, Clavin here is not a theologian. The guy who just called the Pope's message of Christian peace a girly man, this guy he's not one for reading the Bible. I'm
not even a pious poser like Tucker Carlson who'll say things like, "Oh, I would never kill a 14-year-old who was spraying my face with machine gun fire. That would be wrong."
It's not what he said. He said killing kids is wrong. Yeah. You guys are all demons. Like, there's no other way to say it. You're just all demonic. You get off on this death and this destruction. You want an army of suffering and murder, and you're cool with it. And then anyone who says, "Boy, I sure wish this could stop and we could all talk to each other." No, what is that girly nonsense? I don't know, not a cult of murder-worshipping maniacs?
These things are things that have to be,
Why?
Not every war has to be. Some wars could have been avoided, and that's a terrible thing, and that's why...
Like pretty much every war we've fought since World War II, yes, they could have been avoided. And World War II could have been avoided if we would have fought with the good guys in World War I. Then we would have stopped World War II.
The president is taking a lot on his shoulders when he says it's time to go, but still, there are wars that must be fought.
Did you know that we loaned so much money to the Rothschilds, and JP Morgan loaned so much money to the British and French during the war that when it looked like the Germans were going to kick the shit out of them and the French army was mutinying and they wanted to collapse and they wanted to leave the front in 1917, the Rothschilds and the Morgans came to the United States and said, "Hey, if you don't jump in here and defeat the Germans, all that money that the French and British owe you and me and everyone else, all this gold that you're going to ship over to the United States." By the way, World War I made New York the financial capital of the world. Up until then, it was London. But they borrowed so much money from us, and they had that so much of the world's gold reserves went over to the United States of America. And we weren't going to get paid unless we jumped in and committed American blood and American troops for Britain and France's war. Not because Britain and France were the good guys. They weren't. Britain was committing war crimes on the high seas. So our media and Woodrow Wilson started this propaganda campaign saying that the Germans were killing babies and stuff. They never were. The German army was not. They said that they were, bayoneting children and shit. Like, never happened. They made all that up because JP Morgan and the Rothschilds needed the United States of America to fight for the Triple Entente so that they could defeat the Germans, so that the Rothschilds and the bankers could get paid. Because if the French and the British lost and had to pay war reparations to the Germans, they would have no money left to pay all the American and European banking cartels. So all of your relatives who died in World War I died to secure the debts owed to private bankers. America did not have a dog in that fight. We were not under any threat. The Zimmerman telegram is bullshit. It was normal diplomacy. It's how you did business back in those days. The Germans were not a threat to us. As a matter of fact, we had a large German population here in America. I believe we belonged fighting with our brethren over in Germany in World War I. And then if we would have done that or stayed neutral, no Adolf Hitler in World War II. But JP Morgan, Rothschild, and the American government needed us to go into the war because, again, we needed to secure all the debts. Roots Calhoun says, "No shit, you learn something new every day." Yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what happened. Bapa Shab says, "Yes, they all love death because they are weak, subhuman cretins." Yup. Roots Calhoun says, "Chicken Hawk was a dude who dodged the draft but still called for the war in Vietnam, I think. I could be wrong. In the Iraq war, they kind of changed it to like all these guys who cheerleaded for the war but never actually fought it or sent their family to fight. That's why on Twitter now, hashtag draft Baron is trending. Because they're like, oh yeah, if Trump thinks this is such a great war, Baron Trump is of legal age to go fight it. That's one thing I kind of respect about the Royals in a way. Is that the Royals actually go serve in the Air Force. Like Prince, who's the one who's married to the cunt now? Harry. Prince Harry, like, served in Iraq. He flew sorties in Iraq. Like, I think our presidents should have to do that. If you start a war, your family should have to serve in it. I think that's the way to go. Hobo says, hey, and stupid Italians created fascism. You guys are stolen valor. It's true. Next one is the story I was talking about earlier, is this Miss Kiff and Emiru. Now, look, I know these names are gay. I know these names are stupid. They're dumb. You know, she's an e-thought streamer, and he's a gay guy who wears eyeliner on his streams. So avoid that part, and let's just go with the social commentary portion of it. This is a great example of why, in my opinion, you do not believe people just coming out of a breakup. Because the person just coming out of the breakup who didn't want to get broken up with, they're going to say all kinds of horrible shit to make the other person sound like a monster. It's their coping mechanism. Everybody does it. And the person who did the breaking up wants to look as sympathetic as possible. So they're going to, whether they know it or not, and I'm not even saying people are doing it intentionally every time, they'll exaggerate or they'll, make things bigger than they really were. So I think believing anybody just coming out of a relationship with how terrible the other person was is a stupid move. Now, if they're your friend, you just nod. You just go, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. And you go, all right, 90% of what I'm hearing right now is just a guy who just got broken up with being full of shit and venting. Fine. I think if you're going to make abuse claims after you, first of all, if a woman gets dumped, if a woman gets broken up with, my red flags are flying all over the place that she's full of shit. Now, if you bring receipts and you show that the accusations you're making are legit, and oh God, this looks pretty good. Likewise, if you bring receipts that person's full of shit, I got to go with where the evidence is. But there is this thing that's happening, especially online, especially with these streamer public figures, that it's a race to victimhood as soon as a relationship's over. You saw it with Turkey Tom. He told this crazy chick, I don't want to be with a crazy chick anymore. And she goes, oh, well, then in that case, he would hit me during sex and I didn't like it. And he would film me without my permission and blah, 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 all this different stuff. You're like, oh my God, Turkey Tom's canceled. He's the absolute worst. Then Turkey Tom, because he's not a total retard, kept text messages, kept DMs, kept all of this stuff, and showed that this woman was a lying, crazy wench. He gets lawyers involved. She posts an apology. Everybody has to take it back. Turkey Tom's reputation is saved. But the fact that he had to go through it is just crazy. Well, now enter Miss Kiff and Emiru. Now, we talked about this earlier when her accusations were coming out. And I was one of the few people saying, something ain't right here. I've seen it before, and this is not right. This is an aggrieved woman. This is a woman with an axe to grind. And there was just something about the way she was telling the story and something about the way he was defending himself where I'm like, this chick's full of shit and she's nuts. I took a lot of heat for that. A lot of people gave me criticism and I'm just like, guys, I'm not reacting to this emotionally like you are. I'm looking at what I'm seeing. I'm looking at the facts I'm being presented, how they're being presented, and I'm making a bullshit call here. The other problem is, like I said earlier, this is happening so much where if you just de facto don't believe anyone in these breakup stories, you're probably in a good spot, especially the first person to come out with accusations. I mean, bring me text messages, bring me DMs, bring me video, whatever, or I'm sorry, I ain't buying it. Too many. And this is the danger of making up accusations. You end up, we've heard this a million times, you end up harming the other person, the next person who's going to come up and make these accusations. It's like the Duke Lacrosse case. All of those women tried to frame these wealthy, rich white kids. And then you wonder why rich white kids, the next time there's a big accusation, even if they did it, why people go lightly on them because they don't want to end up embarrassed like the Duke Lacrosse thing. So this Emiru comes out and she said, Ms. Kiff would throw shit at me. He would hit me. He was this evil, terrible guy. And this Mizkif is apparently a big Twitch streamer. And so he has to do this whole on the defensive thing. It's terrible. There's nothing worse than having to defend yourself from something you know you didn't do. Like, how do you prove a negative? So he's getting defensive. It hurts his numbers. It tanks his career. He really struggles. He can't cast that scarlet letter off of him. Well, now, I don't know if this chick had an attack of conscience. I don't know if she was going to be asked to prove things legally, but she's now recanted. She said it didn't happen. I lied. I was a bitter bitch. I got broken up with, and I couldn't take the L. So I made that. Now, first of all, this is sociopathy on a new level. Like, you should go to jail for shit like this. Accusing whatever you accuse someone of that you admit you lied about, you should do the time for, because it's incredibly damaging. So this is this Mizkif guy, and I would say that he's taking a victory lap right now, but there's no victory in being falsely accused of stuff like this. I mean, this is basically him getting to salvage his reputation. Now, again, I'm not on this guy's side. I think he's still, first of all, he looks like a guy liner wearing creep. But there is something about someone getting accused of something they didn't do that does make you, feel sympathetic towards them. So this is him being asked about whether or not he's going to sue. Now, if it's me, the amount of damage that she did to him. Now, April never accused me of anything, but there was a piece of paper that, said she said something, and then people extrapolated it out to the 10th degree because they hate my guts and they wanted it to say something it didn't. She came out publicly. She said, no, never. Everything we did together was consensual and fine and whatever. But if you hate Aaron, you can then use that against Aaron. It's fine. It's desperation, whatever. But it wasn't like what happened to this guy where she openly accused him of it and then said, I'm a liar, I take it back. I was never accused in the first place, which I can't imagine how terrible it was for this guy. But if I were in his shoes, yeah, I wouldn't forgive and forget. There'd be a fucking lawsuit.
Drop it publicly if she apologized and took it back? Absolutely not.
No.
This is not a public take it back thing at this point. This is, you destroyed everything I ever had. No. Absolutely not.
All right, thanks for playing fucking Rooster during your shit, gay boy. But I agree with him. Like, what is she? She gets a pass? Like, he's not supposed to seek what is a very righteous vengeance for what she did? Oh, if she publicly apologizes to you, great, you can publicly apologize to me. And then I'll also sue your ass.
This is not a tweet, hey, just want to update you and let you know that that didn't happen. And then... No, it legitimately should be jail time. It should be fucking what she did.
Yeah.
Using women and using the woman card and using what she did should be jail time.
I cannot agree with him more. I mean, not his makeup choices, but I couldn't agree with him more on that. There needs to be serious consequences for people who do stuff like this, because they hurt the person they directly falsely accuse, and they hurt who's ever coming up behind them with an accusation.
And I don't know how anyone else could see otherwise. It should be jail time. I know I'm not the most liked figure. It's partially why she did it.
Yeah.
She did it because she knows that I'm not liked. And I know that I'm not liked for a whole different reasons and whole ball games of crap. But nothing compares to stuff like this. Nothing. No tree climbing, no anything else compared.
I don't know anything about tree climbing or anything like that. I just know this accusation. And that's another thing. She knew that when you're a talented broadcaster, when you're a little bigger, it naturally comes with 10 to 20% of people just like, oh, I fucking hate this guy and blah, blah. And you can play off that and you can use that to feed this and make it go viral. So it's not only that she made this shit up. You could argue, oh, she was emotional. She was going through a tough time. That doesn't give you a right to besmirch someone else. But she was going through a tough time doesn't really work when she knew exactly how to manipulate the situation and knew exactly what she was doing. I mean, and also the fact that you've got Rooster playing in the background. I don't know. I love, people are shitting on me. Rooster's a great, it's a wonderful song. It's just hard to make a clip out of it. And I'm trying to defend you, you retard. So then this all came from the fact that this guy provided screenshots. So I don't know if this Ms. Kiff saw Turkey Tom's thing and went, maybe I should show my screenshots. Now, this should have been one of the first things you do, but I understand you panic immediately. Everybody's ganging up on you. You know, a lot of people owe this guy an apology.
The sexual assault that Emaru claims that happened, we dated afterwards for a few months, and we had sex every single day.
Oh, humble brag. That was one of the things when she first made these accusations. She's like, oh yeah, he SA'd me, and then we broke up. I'm like, well, then you stay the fuck away from that guy. Oh, then we got back together and we hooked up more, and it's like, I don't know. I know that SA accusation buys you a lot of grace, and it does, and I get that, but I mean, come on. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
That's why. But no, it's her.
And then I broke up with her.
She felt it was her emotional truth.
Yeah. I feel like people don't know that fact. I'm the one that broke up with her, one, and two, we dated afterwards. Like, that interaction was us getting back together, which we did.
By the way, he broke up with her. That's why these accusations came out. This happens way too often. Like, way too often.
Why didn't you say that until now? I have, brother. No one listens to me. Yes, I've said this already.
Yeah.
No, you didn't talk about it. You didn't talk about getting back with her.
I've definitely said that this was not the last time we met and we literally were dating afterwards. You didn't. Yes, I did. I have 100% said that after this incident, me and Emmy dated for months afterwards. I did.
First of all, it doesn't matter. The bitch was lying. So why didn't you say this? Why didn't you say that? Wait, you see, like, even when this guy's proven right, even when she's like this dastardly, people underestimate women who look like her so much because they're like, oh, she had to have just stumbled upon this false accusation. It could never have been that she meticulously plotted it, knew exactly where he was vulnerable, and stuck the dagger in right between the plates. It couldn't be that. You just didn't defend yourself hard enough. That face versus this face. She knows who's getting believed.
The way we ended it was I slept over her house one time, and then she wrote down everything on a piece of paper stating what she wanted in the relationship. And she said she wants to marry me, move closer, and be together with me, and start telling all my friends about us.
That's funny. That's what got Turkey Tom to dump that crazy broad too. She's like, no, I kind of like the distance that we have. I like how much road is between you and I.
And I told her that I don't want to do that, and I'm done with the relationship. And I gave her back the piece of paper, and the last thing she ever said to me was, don't go, as I shut the door. That's it. Amaru is claiming that this incident...
So he's an insensitive cunt, but that's hardly a crime.
...happened in October or November. And I don't think people knew or understand that after this sexual assault that she claims that people are now realizing wasn't sexual assault, we got back together right after that. And we dated for months. And we dated up until I broke up with her, which was in late January of 2024. And people want proof that we dated. This is December 30th, 2024. I'm going to bed. Okay, I'm just getting ready. Do you want to sleep together? Yeah, by the way, do you have the save with DCs? Because Cheddar, he is a hero.
I have no idea.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. She might be on drugs too. But like, it's gross that he has to do this. It's gross that he has to provide this shit because this is what I mean by when they say believe all women. And I'm like, I've known too many to believe them all. That's such a misguided. That's like saying believe all men. Don't. Some of them are scoundrels. I would say this. Never take on faith someone who just got broken up with. If someone just got broken up with, take any accusation they make with a grain of salt because they feel like they've been wronged. They feel like there's a wrong that needs to be righted. Someone needs to be punished. Hurt people. She's not doing so great, so she's got to throw that pain onto someone else. So if a guy gets broken up with and he says some shit, I'd be highly skeptical of it. If a woman comes out after she gets broken up with and says some shit, I'd be highly skeptical of it. And the more serious the allegation, the less credence I give it. And that sounds cold, and maybe it is cold. That's fine. Maybe it's a very cold way to be. But I haven't always been like this. I've only been like this after the world showed itself to me. You know, it's only after enough experiences where you go, okay, I have to adjust what I believe based on the evidence presented to me. And if they're streamers, they're lying. That's the rule. Veldrain with $1 says, so now Emmy Rue is, according to Twitch, a racist, bigot, and a liar. All she had to do was say, fuck ICE. What? Is that where this all started from? All of this stuff started from the fact that someone said, fuck, they wanted her to say, fuck ICE, and she wouldn't. All right, fine. We're going to expose that you weren't raped. Like, whoa, that's... So wait, if she says, fuck ICE, then you'll let the lie go? That's wild. So then everybody's favorite will they go to jail guy, Legal Mindset, weighed in on this Emmy Rue thing. And, hold on a minute. I just got to fire one back here. Just got to update on what I'm doing today. There we go. Legal Mindset weighed in on this and said that this Emmy Rue could face jail time over this. Good. I'm not saying I don't think we should take up a cell. I don't think we should take up a room in a jail for this accusation, but threaten her with it, make her think that she might go to jail, that it costs something to lie about people.
So the area where she screwed up was by talking about SA. She should have never said the word SA, right? And that's where...
What if she was Mexican talking to another Mexican? Oh, he means he means the whole... My bad. That's on me. That's on me. Bad translation.
Amaru messed up. That's the one thing she did that was a mess up. And
the one thing? Well, I guess he means he's a lawyer, so he just means legally. I would say all of it was a giant temper tantrum. I got broken up with. I'll show you. Fuck off.
A clear mess up, right? So in Texas, it's defamation per se. That means kind of automatically defamation. If you accuse someone of a crime or if you have an imputation of serious sexual misconduct. So accusing someone of SA, you see the word right here, and not being an SA, right? There's nothing wrong with...
Oh, he did. We're both racists. Look at that. We're both making racist jokes. I mean, we're not the king of racist jokes. I mean, Chad Zumach has the market cornered on that one this week.
With essays as an ESSAY, right? I like those are nice, right? We're talking.
Oh no, he was saying like a long paper, the dork. I was saying beaners. That's on me.
Talking about sexual assault, right? Talking about sexual assault. That's a felony, right? So it's both a crime.
Since when? No. Islam calls it an oopsie.
And it's a serious sex thing. So it hits both categories, right? Both categories. So, and just so you understand, the crime of sexual assault requires contact or, some penetration, right? So,
let's not get crass, Andrew. All right, come on. Let's not. We're getting a little X-rated in here. Come on, this is a family show.
If you're saying that, so the crime requires contact. Now, originally, I thought Emaru was going to actually take the position that what happened to her was SA, and said, "Hey, I think that meets the definition," or maybe there's something else we haven't heard of, right? That she's going to bring up later that does meet that definition. But she changed her argument. She did change the argument, or at least the framing of it, from people's understanding in her motion to dismiss.
In an opinion that I know is going to be controversial. In an opinion that I know is going to get all kinds of pushback, and there's all kinds of pre-made arguments as to why I'm a bad guy or I'm wrong for taking this position. If you're saying that you were very recently SA'd and you're saying it publicly and you haven't gone to the police, I have a really hard time buying it. Because it's one thing to say it to people privately and go, yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want the public, thing. I don't want the investigations, and I don't want to have to testify. I get that. I understand that. I'm saying if you go out publicly and you make these accusations and you don't go to the police, forgive me, I don't believe you. Because the only way I would believe you and you didn't go to the police is if you were like, I don't want it to be known publicly. I'm embarrassed. I'm humiliated. I don't feel good. But that might be right. That might be wrong. But at least then I would go, okay, it still could have happened, but they don't want the public to know about it. If you blare it out to the entire public on social media and you don't go to the cops, I ain't buying it. Again, and not because I'm a bad, just to prove I'm not a cold-hearted man. I would say that I've seen it too many times the other way for me to just blanket believe that. Tucker says SA means a million things to these people. Well, there is a legal definition of it. There is a legal definition. So yeah, if the guy I think Miskiff should be able to go after this any way he wants. If he wants money, go for money. If he wants to press charges, press charges. Because that's a really bullshit move. So let's get into this Ralph stuff. The title of tonight's episode is Ralpha Males Are Toe Boys. This is fantastic. Ethan, somebody sent this to me this morning during the morning show, and they said, Aaron, Ethan just said a bunch of really nice stuff about you. He was really complimentary. He was doing a stream from his hotel room in Chicago with Scarlett. They're together. If you didn't know, Scarlett and Ethan are, as we would say in middle school, boyfriend and girlfriend. They're going steady. They're an item. And Ethan was just doing a little stream of consciousness on his stream, and he gave props to the toe. Now, I was not expecting this. I didn't see this coming, and I was very happy to see Ethan Ralph. Wow. By the way, I also saw the clip that people were talking about where Ethan was getting blown on stream. I could have gone the rest of my life without seeing that. No disrespect to Ethan Ralph. Do we really need to broadcast that? Do we need to? He muted his microphone, and you can tell there's something going on, down below the view of the camera. And, it's just like, it's like he's looking at the camera, like trying to, like daring you to make eye contact. And it's like, I got to tap out of this. I watched it and I was considering telling him,
you are cursed.
So Ethan, this is not Ethan Ralph getting a blowjob. This next clip, this is Ethan Ralph saying some nice things about the toe. Apparently, he's not a Kevin Brennan fan, and that's too bad. I guess they're having some kind of a beef. I've said before, I'll say it again. Kevin's always been nice to me. I always like doing Kevin's show. I say this because it drives that part of the internet crazy. I, of course, was the focal point of one of the most memorable MLC episodes of all time. It's undeniable. You cannot say anything. It was me, it was Zumach, it was Kevin, and it was Jim Florentine. And it was when the arrests went down. And we went forever. It was one of the longest episodes in history, one of the most super chatted episodes in history, one of the most memorable MLCs that ever took place. You can't take that away from the toe. We made it that way. And that upsets a lot of people, so I like to overplay it a little bit. So Ethan has a problem with Ralph, and that caused him, for some reason, I got hung up in the middle of this. But hey, I love a good ass kissing. So, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Ralph Male.
Shout out to Steel Toe Morning Show, my guy Aaron M. Holt.
My guy, you hear that? I'm his guy. I'm not a lot of people's guy. But when it comes to Ethan Ralph, I'm his guy. I like that. I like when game recognize game.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay. Okay, I've only heard this once. Listen to Scarlett in the background. So I also would love, and I wish these two nothing but the best. I hope their relationship goes well and everybody's healthy and happy and everything else. But the idea that I could be the schism between these two that eventually breaks up the relationship would be at the same time both very sad, but also an honor to me. To know that I was the wedge that kind of got in there and just separated them. So listen to Scarlett in the background. She's a little surprised to hear Ethan say that, he's a toe boy.
Shout out to Steel Toe Morning Show, my guy Aaron M. Holt.
Really?
Really? Oh, really, fool? Yes, really.
Yeah, really.
Cool.
What, you can be friends with Brennan? I'm friends with Aaron M. Holt.
Oh, battle lines drawn in the relationship. This is like a Packer-Viking relationship, like a border battle thing. You can't like Steel Toe. I'm way better than Steel Toe. Well, I like Steel Toe, motherfucker. What do you think about that, if you want to know the truth of it? So Scarlett is Team Brennan, and Ralph is Team Aaron. And I will speak for Brennan and myself. Neither of us sought these endorsements. We just got them.
Brian is different.
No, he's not. He's less talented than Aaron M. Holt.
Oh! Less talented than Aaron M. Holt. Charismatic, cuts a promo, multi-sport athlete. I count boxing and professional wrestling. And pick up basketball at the Y. Anything you do with black guys who are really fast, that counts as an athletic. When I rob gas stations, same thing.
Aaron Emholt makes some good points, but...
Yeah.
Oh! Scarlett Hampton thinks I make good points. You know what that means? My takes are fucking retarded, and you should do the opposite of everything I say. It was until today that I heard Scarlett say, I make some good points. Up until that moment, I thought I really had it together and could really spin a yarn. And I've learned today I'm completely on the wrong track.
Aaron M. Holt is better than Kevin Brennan by far.
Like serenade his crowd.
Like, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Brennan has these gigantic 5-minute pauses.
Oh, he's funny. He's funny.
M. Holt's better. I mean, I'm just being real. So
because he doesn't.
Shout out to Aaron M. Holt.
Hey, you know what I'd like to say? Shout out right back to the Ralpha male. And not only shout out right back to the Ralpha male, but shout out to the Ralpha female, Scarlett Ralph.
And don't worry, I can't. I'm not saying you would be.
Hey, no. Ethan, you tell her she doesn't get to jump on the bandwagon. I don't need it. She's the Danhausen of all this shit.
You are cast.
I mean, has Matt Mead done well? Brennan got his channel struck. Chestnut Chad is dropping N-bombs and everything. It seems like whenever Scarlett comes in and goes, you're aces, I like you, all hell breaks Run, Ralph, run.
But we won't be in the morning time slot too often, so...
Fucking bring it, bitch. Me, myself, and I versus you and Scarlett. Handicap match, Ralph. Oh. No, I don't really worry about people wanting to do mornings because one of two things happens. One, I have my own community and it doesn't really jump to other shows. And number two, any show that starts a show at 6 a.m. quits within 6 months because they're like, this is a mentally ill time to wake up in the morning.
Oh, is he on right now?
No, I think he comes on at 7, I think, right? 6 or 7?
I wouldn't know.
Thanks for being a fan, Ralph. You don't even know when my show starts. I appreciate it all the same, but I mean, if you're going to throw the toe a plug it right.
That's what
Scarlett said.
I'm not April 2.0. I don't know that shit.
Well, I forget.
Oh, did you hear that? Scarlett goes, I'm not April 2.0. I don't know that shit. So Scarlett has apparently heard people online referring to her as April 2.0. Now, that's not a nice thing that people say. It's a very mean thing that they say, because they're saying that, with April showing up on camera geeked on drugs from time to time and falling apart in front of their eyes, it's an insult saying that Scarlett's on the same path. That's what April 2.0 means. I can't endorse that, and she doesn't think so either.
Exactly, but I saw him destroy Ethan Van Sciver, which was...
I am the conqueror of Comics Gate. In fact, my last promo on Van Sciver was so brutal that Evan didn't even bother showing up for another round. He'd had it. He was finished. Now, I give him credit for responding twice. I didn't even think he'd have the balls to do that. I put him on his ass, and I thought he'd stay there. The kid got up twice. I don't know if he thought I was a urinal he could lick. I didn't know if he thought I was a crack pipe, and he's like, I'll come back for more. But much like that crack pipe, eventually I put you down for good. And Van Sciver, the last time I dropped him, so I dropped his henchman, this Sean or Shane guy. He cut a promo. It was dog shit. I cut one back. He deleted his. Mine was so good. Then this Evan Van Sciver, who lost his bunny to a skydiving instructor. Oh, and he's coping hard about that. He went really hard on the cuck thing. And then I found out, I'm like, oh, the reason he went so hard on the cuck thing is because he's a cuck. That's brutal. That's too bad. So I kind of took it easy on him after I found that out. But he had kind of lost the stomach for battle, and he went back to making his drawings. Still hasn't fulfilled those comic books that he promised he would. Still ripping people off and going to the casino like an old lady with the oxygen tank, sucking on the unfiltered cigarettes, hitting that slot machine. But at any rate, thank you, Ethan Ralph, acknowledging that Evan Von Sciver, the throat goat, crushed under the weight of the steel toe.
It's hilarious. So shout out to him for that. And I've seen some of his recent content, and I reached out and asked him, had he actually, I messaged him, I said, have you ever been to Chicago?
He did. I told him I've been there a couple times. I've been there for a Twins game, and then once in college with a buddy who was living down there at the time, and we went and got pizza and then drank. That was our night in Chicago.
This was days before I even hinted at coming to Chicago.
That's right. I knew Ralph was going to Chicago before anyone else did. I just didn't know that I knew.
And he said, yeah, I've been. And he didn't really give me an extensive, list of places to see, but
I've been to the Mile, the mall, the Mile. What's that? The Magnificent Mile. I've been to that. I've been to, at the time it was called U.S. Cellular Field, where the White Sox played. And I've been to a pizza place. And then I've ridden the L. That's what I know.
Basically just said have fun, because I think he got the drift. But 6 Central, yeah, that's what I thought, right? Yeah, 7 Eastern. So yeah, I'm not even joking. I watched his segment on, he did 2 or 3 on Ethan Van Sciver.
I cut some promos.
Bomb, and he should throw himself off a bridge. But
I didn't say he's a complete bum and he should throw himself off a bridge. I would never want anyone to do that. Where there's life, there's potential to do the comic books you fucking promised people you would do that you took their money for. If he jumps off that bridge, those comics are not getting done, which could be the same percentage chance people have of getting them done if he doesn't jump off a bridge. But if he jumps off a bridge, it locks in as a 100% certainty.
Of course, I had beef with him we won't relitigate it.
I'll relitigate it. We never had, the beef was all one-sided. I never had a problem with Ralph, never crossed streams with Ralph, so to speak. What happened was he got in trouble for live streaming my arraignment. And at my second hearing, whatever the fuck they call that, they asked me, do you know who Ethan Ralph is? What's your relationship to him? Because they thought he was like one of my guys, that I had one of my guys live stream the arraignment, and that was going to fuck me over really bad. I'm like, no, he's not my guy. I thought they were talking about DiCaprio at first. And I was going to give them DiCaprio's name, but they came to me with Ethan Ralph. And I'm like, no, that is not one of mine. That's the other side over there. And Ethan and I talked about that one day, and I explained to him what was up. He explained to me that, he was just mad because he was worried he wasn't going to be able to see his kid because of the charge and all of that stuff coming back into the country. So that was pretty easy to squash, to be honest.
Reasons, he had his reasons, and this is not getting involved with him versus Ricada. This is separate.
By the way, I want to point this out to Ethan because I don't want him to worry about this. There is no me and Ricada. I was done with that guy 2 years ago. Some people don't take getting broken up with well, I guess. I don't know. I would definitely say there's a him against me thing. I just want to be, everybody who gets away from that guy and is out of that vector is a lot happier and a lot better off. And that's all I ever wanted to be. That's it. So you don't have to worry about that, Ethan. There is no there for you.
But I watched his segment, I think it was the first one, on Ethan Van Sciver. And if you'll recall, he's always talked about being a top tier heel. Well, that kind of hits me right here.
Me?
I consider myself a top tier heel.
But here's the deal. Ralph is a top tier heel in like the old 80s style. Where it's like, and I'm going to get you, and I'm going to slam you on the ground, and I'm going to gouge your eyes out. I'm what they call a chicken shit heel. A la the $1 Million Man. All right? Like Edge. Eddie Guerrero, cheat to win kind of a guy. My heelness, especially online, comes from the fact that I don't care about anybody online. So I can just say whatever I want, do whatever I want. Like I like to say, set the fire, walk away. That's what I do. And if somebody else goes, I'm going to get you on the internet and I'm going to own you on the internet, I'm like, yeah, you probably will. I don't fucking care. But you see that reaction you just gave me where you got all worked up and animated and had to come over to me and tell me about it? That's what I was going for. So when it comes to that, I am the best heel in the business. There's nobody better. All these other guys care about like their images. No offense. That ain't me.
But there are different kinds of heels.
Yes.
And, there's the completely despicable villains like me, and then there are, anyway, I'll let him describe his own,
I just did. I think that's about it. So that was Ethan Ralph endorsing the toe, saying, and I quote, he's funnier than Kevin Brennan. He's better than Kevin Brennan. Now, again, I'm going to leave that up to the rest of y'all, but I'll take the compliment. Fuentes ripping into Jake Lang. I love this. I've been kind of hot and cold with Nick Fuentes lately because Nick was kind of laissez-faire on the Epstein stuff, and that disappointed me. And that's when I was at my, I got so mad about the Gaza stuff. I often tell people, I went back to the Catholic Church and I started going to Mass again for two reasons. One, all of my terrible behavior 2 years ago. And I needed to kind of journey back to that. It's kind of like, in AA, they say my best thinking got me here. I needed to turn it over to something else. So I did that and I'm a lot happier for it. I feel great. But also the other reason, and it's a smaller reason that I started going back to Mass and recommitting to Catholicism and everything else, was I was getting so mad about what Israel was doing in Gaza. And I was getting so mad at these evangelical Christians who kept talking about like the end times and we need to support Israel and blah, blah. I wanted to, first of all, I was feeling a lot of hatred. I mean, it comes out in the show from time to time, but I was feeling a lot of hatred. And I'm like, I need to go back to church and I need to, because that hate it'll tear you apart.
It'll kill you, son.
It'll kill you, son. That hate will kill you. So I went back for mostly my bad behavior and reforming and repenting and everything else. That was number one with a bullet. But number two, a smaller thing, was what was going on in Gaza and all this shit. So I was really, I think the more full of anger and hate I was, the more I leaned into Fuentes' content because it justified it. Like a lot of the stuff Fuentes talks about justified. This is why I'm so mad. Then I think Fuentes, a lot of people say Fuentes is a Fed. And a lot of the reason they say that, a lot of people are renewing that claim because Fuentes seemed like he got all this momentum and all these hits and all this fame, and he's the biggest streamer out there. And then he started dropping the ball and saying goofy shit. Like he was wearing the Epstein pullover. He was saying having sex with a 16-year-old or whatever is not that bad. It's not as bad as this, that, or the other. He was trying to like parse pedophilia. And then he just kind of got lazy. Like he's a really smart guy. You can tell he knows his shit, but it just seemed like he really started to get lazy. And people were like, well, yeah, that's because he's a Fed and he's trying to tear that entire movement apart from the inside. And a lot of people are pointing to the fact that he's encouraging people to vote Democrat now because Trump let everybody down. And they're like, see, this was his plan. Get in, get everybody worked up, get him on his side, and then tear it apart from the inside.
And then tell him the guy you support shouldn't be the one you support. Pick the
Right.
team.
But the problem is, I feel like you could make that same argument about Trump then, because he's just as responsible for that, if not more so, than Nick Fuentes. So Fuentes was getting a little iffy on me for a while there. Now he decided last night on his show, he's going to dig into Jake Lang. And yeah, these Muslims throwing bombs and shit in New York, that's a really terrible, awful, evil thing to do. We got to keep an eye on that. But don't think that this Jake Lang guy is some kind of a right-wing hero. He's a Jewish insider Fed douchebag. He sucks. He tries to play like I'm this white guy but he's kissing the Wailing Wall, and he doesn't make any points. He's just a retard. Remember, I've met this guy. I've seen this guy. I was at 3 different events that he was at covering the protests. Jake Lang is remarkably unremarkable. I mean, he basically does. He's the Gallagher of protesting. What Gallagher was to the depth of stand-up comedy, Jake Lang is to the political intelligence of a movement. You know, while Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and all these other people are trying to make points and make arguments, Jake Lang is riding around New York with a goat in a van. You know, he's smashing watermelons while the rest of these guys are doing the 7 words you can't say on TV. So
I get you.
Nick Fuentes, and I'll admit, I want Jake Lang to be a Fed. I want this to be true, so I'm susceptible here. This is Nick giving us some of the evidence on his show yesterday.
Jake Lang, and maybe you've seen this, he's a Jewish activist. There are literally photos of him in Israel kissing the wall.
By the way, he denies he's Jewish.
Weird.
Yeah, he also tries to say really anti-Semitic shit to steer people off of the Jewish thing. But I mean, Nick Fuentes is not the first person I've heard this from. It's always weird when a guy denies he's Jewish and then says fucked up shit about Jewish people. It's like, okay, I feel like you're trying to make a certain side look bad.
You're just kind of trying to build yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not Jewish. I think they're all a bunch of money grubbing. All right, so you're anti-Semitic. Okay.
Making out with the wall with the fucking cube on his head and everything. He is the most Jewish looking guy you've ever seen.
I can't argue with Nick on that one. He is pretty Jewish looking. I mean, he's got, what do they call it? The phenotype?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't judge a book by its cover, but it'll tell you roughly what's in the story. And
yeah.
That one says Jew.
You can't tell the whole story by the cover of the book, but the nature of the book can be told through the cover.
Yes.
Yes.
Ever seen. He's the most Jewish sounding guy you've ever heard.
True. Yeah.
He is a big, disgusting, revolting Jewish.
Jesus. All right. See, now this is where I feel like I have to go. All right, Nick, could you
tone it down a bit?
Could you do this in a way where I don't look crazy when I bring up something you said to people?
Do it in a way that doesn't make me cringe when I share this video with other people and watch them watch it. I'm like, oh yeah, we do kind of hit that.
I can't show, outside of my show, which we do for entertainment purposes, I can't seriously show people your content because while you're making good points, you go, he's a big, revolting, ugly, disgusting, hideous Jewish. I'm like, all right, Nick. First of all, my first criticism would be, you already said Jewish.
Right? So now we're just piling on.
Douchebag
from there you go.
You said
New
Jewish.
York City. Name is Jake Lang. And he's out there in New York City all week inciting and harassing Muslims, driving around with a goat, saying, you're all goat fuckers, showing up to Zohran Mamdani's mansion, Gracie Mansion, with a roast.
Oh my God. I just realized it. Jake Lang is hobo chili recipe. Oh no.
That's weird. I could have swore I met Hobo, and that did not look at all like Jake Lang in person.
No, you met Roots.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
I met Roots Calhoun, not Hobo.
Pig. And saying we're against Muslims and immigration. We're pro-white. We're pro-Christian. The guy's a Jew.
Okay, that's a clip.
The guy's a Jew.
That is a Nick Fuentes clip right there.
Christian. The guy's a Jew.
This is me talking to people who still support Donald Trump.
The guy's a Jew.
This is me when people ask, why do you have that guy doing your taxes?
Christian. The guy's a Jew.
Aaron, why are you worried that you're not getting a good price on this car?
The guy's a Jew.
I just love that. I love that.
The guy's a Jew. And it could not be more obvious. He's doing his best Trump impression that he could do. It's all fake. It's all a lie. He went out over the weekend and did a demonstration in New York, and apparently a couple of Muslim kids threw an improvised nail bomb at him, which failed to detonate. And this was outside.
Teenagers, historically not great bomb builders.
An improvised nail bomb. You know, one of those highly accurate devices that definitely doesn't get collateral damage in any
Holy shit, yeah, that fucks people up. What did they use in the Boston Marathon bombing? Was it ball bearings? Or was it
ball bearings and pressure cookers?
Yeah, or was it nails?
I know that they used the pressure cookers for the bases of the bombs. I thought they were filled with ball bearings, but I might be confusing that with swordfish now that I'm thinking
I was thinking the same thing you were. I was like, oh no, that's swordfish where they use the ball bearings.
Yeah, that's the Claymore mines with the ball bearings on top. Maybe they just loaded it with screws and nails. Probably easier to get a hold of.
Yeah.
The governor's mansion. So this guy shows up with about 20 thugs. 100 counter protesters come. Some Muslim kids show up and throw a nail bomb at him. And obviously, I don't support that. But this is what they're trying to do.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Obviously, I don't support that. But, well, what about it, Nick?
The guy's a Jew.
Oh. Mr. Fuentes, you were here. You saw what happened. Why are you okay with this man having a nail bomb thrown at him?
The guy's a Jew.
Oh.
You guys have been in a horrible fight this whole time. Can you explain to us why this is going on?
Jew.
Oh, shit.
The guy's a Jew.
All right, now I got to go find our place again.
Into doing. Support that. But this is what they're trying to trick us and trap us into doing.
See, I hate it when Nick Fuentes says shit like this because when I think it, I feel crazy. And I can dismiss my thoughts like, oh, Jake Lang is doing this to cause this counter protest so that it causes all this dissension and we all fight with each other. And this is like his mission as a Fed. But I think that's crazy. Then I hear someone I respect go, this is what he's doing. And this is why I'm like, oh, shit, I don't want to be right about this. I was mad when I started going down this rabbit hole.
I can't be on your side, Nick. The guy's a Jew.
The guy's a Jew.
You have people going out there deliberately trying to instigate, deliberately trying to incite, trying to change the conversation. Mm-hmm. Because isn't that 90% of the propaganda? It's not necessarily...
Well, that's what we saw with when the Epstein files came out, and then all of a sudden Nick Shirley's down there doing the Somali fraud thing. All of a sudden, none of the boomers are talking about the Epstein files.
Right? We got a whole lot of fucking boomer food to get everybody off of one thing and onto another. None of these guys are controlled opposition. They're just all streamers just happen to do it. Coincidence. What do you think?
Well, and then, another batch of Epstein files comes out. These look even worse for Trump and Lutnick. And now all of a sudden, now we're bombing Iran again. Interesting.
But hey, no boots on the ground.
Yeah. That'll be next. More stuff will come out. We'll have, what we're going to get? We're going to get like a Snowden. Somebody's going to say enough is enough, and they're going to leak everything we've got, unredacted names, the whole deal. Somebody's going to pull an Edward Snowden, and then we're going to invade Iran.
How they talk about it, it's what they talk about. It's how they set the table. It's what they put in front of you. We are in a war with Iran, something that Trump said specifically we wouldn't do. He said we're going to end the endless wars. We're not going to be in the Middle East forever. All this kind of stuff. We are in there. It's looking like Iraq 3.0. We have no plan. Americans are dying. Oil prices are spiking. We did this because Israel forced us to. Approval rating is...
Even Rubio said that. Even Rubio said we bombed Iran because we saw that Israel was about to bomb Iran and they were going to do it. And then when, the quiet part out loud got said, he came out the next day and goes, oh, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
No, it is what you meant. Just own up to it.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, as an American citizen, fuck Israel.
And then Jake Lang goes out and a couple of crazy Muslims throw bombs at him. And now we talk about that.
Tanking. We're already in bad shape for the midterms. And what's going on in New York? Some Jew is out there LARPing like a Christian nationalist, white nationalist, trying to instigate with Muslims. Now's the time he wants to talk about Muslim immigration.
Right.
And doing these very sensational, very provocative demonstrations. This is not a protest saying we're against immigration. This is a protest saying we're going to do sacrilegious things to make Muslims as mad as possible in the hopes that one crazy person hits me and then we can cry and make a national media story and say we're...
Again, when I think this stuff, I feel nuts. When I hear someone else say it back to me, I go, that makes 1,000% sense.
Right. And this is certainly this is where Nick is wrong, because, again, making yourself a victim and crying out in pain as you lash yourself is totally not a Jewish concept that they've used.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you sarcastically insinuate that Jake Lang would do something? Well, and here's the thing. Jake Lang knows his opposition, and he knows they're crazy, and he knows if you instigate and you poke them and you poke them and you poke them, they're not guilty white people who will just sit there and take it. Muslims,
they're a bunch of retarded goat effers who will just get a bomb and fucking blow some shit up.
I was going to say Muslims still have some balls, but yeah, or that, or tard rage, one of the two. But you know what? As Jack Nicholson once said, when you're staring down the barrel of a loaded gun, what's the difference? Yeah. Muhammad once said, I'm an artist. You give me a fucking tuber, I'll get you something out of it. Oh, no, the Jake Lang thing makes a lot of sense. And Jake Lang knows his opposition. He knows they'll be aggressive if you push them far enough.
Right.
So he does that. So we have some more information on Jakey Boy.
Okay.
It turns out that Jake Lang has been texting with a 15-year-old girl.
Ugh, just don't.
It's gross. It's
He's
disgusting.
Like 30, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's doing a Dalia, basically, is what Jake's doing.
Climbing the barrel, let's light the oil. Jesus Christ.
And now some people might say, well, maybe he has fans that are 15 and he might talk to them. This might not be, a big thing. He does say in the text messages, don't tell anybody we're talking.
So you know it's wrong and you do it. It's fucking Jesus. Just I don't understand. How does you've seen it go bad for a bunch of people before you, Jake? You've seen it never really work out. Text messages get caught. The infamous delete of Snapchats aren't automatically deleted. After that happened, I feel like everybody who's I want to fuck around with underage kids on the internet, kind of needed to learn, this will come back to you if you're any sort of internet personality. So I got an idea. Don't. I mean, I don't need that information because I don't have that urge. But I mean, if you do, how do you not see reality and go, this is bad for me?
To answer your question about why they can't because they can't. It's what they want. They're attracted to it. They want it. They can't help themselves. That's why I don't believe in trying to rehabilitate people who do things like this. Just lock them up and keep them locked up. I mean, they're not going to get better. This is what they want. So when you say, well, don't they know that this is bad or this is whatever? Yeah, but they can't help themselves.
It's just weird because, I can only think of the only time I could ever say I ever had any ability to be attracted to a 15-year-old was when I was 15. It's not something that stayed with me. I've kind of stayed with my age range. As I've gotten older, I find older women attractive. I I don't understand this. Like, no, I'm twice your age, but let's do this thing.
Right. I think as you get older, if you have a healthy brain, your brain adjusts what you find attractive.
Well, you learn that the young ones are stupid too. So it's like, well, at least we got this going.
And I got to be honest, they're weird looking. They're undercooked.
Well, I don't look at them that way now, so I guess it's hard to say.
The 20-somethings, they just look underdeveloped. And as I get older the age that women don't look right get. Like if I see an old picture, like if there's an old picture somewhere in the house, like we were cleaning out my closet and there was a picture of April when we first got together that was somewhere in the mess. And I looked at it and I go, she doesn't look right. She looks too young. She doesn't look like, it's not her fault. I'm saying like my taste as I get older is like someone that young doesn't look right to me. And I feel like that's my healthy brain biologically going, that's not what we like now. We don't like skinny, underdeveloped people. We like women. We're into women now. We like
breasts, sir.
We like tits. We like women who look like grown-ups. We still don't like the fat ones, but that's a bigotry.
Nobody's perfect, Aaron.
That's a bigotry issue, and I'm working on it, I promise. So now, I know I'm sitting here saying that Jake Lang has been texting with a 15-year-old, and I haven't shown you guys any proof yet. I do have screenshots.
Oh, boy.
Of text messages. This was Cuckturd on Twitter who got Faceless. This got retweeted by Cuckturd. This is Jake Lang texting this or DMing this 15-year-old. You coming to my next protest in Texas? Now, this is interesting because I wouldn't write an individual fan to ask if they were coming to an event
that you're doing
unsolicited ever, let alone a 15-year-old. So he's picking them out because he likes them. I can, if want me to. Yes. What's your number? Can we talk on here instead, or you only text? Yeah. So Jake Lang's 30. He doesn't understand that Zoomers, and this is almost Gen Alpha, Zoomers don't talk on the phone.
No.
But millennials still do. Gen X does. Boomers love it. Gen Z is afraid to talk on the phone. They just want to text. They want to DM. They don't want to bother with the phone.
They need to use their emojis.
Yeah. And then Jake Lang wrote, again, to a 15-year-old girl. This is back in November. I have too many DMs. Text only, sweetie. And then the next set of texts DMs we have is, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Well, this one doesn't have the whole thing. All right. I just turned. Oh, no. Okay. No. I got it. All right. I thought there's more text messages than I thought. I'm sorry. This one says, I'm laying down in bed. What did your mom say? Smiley. Oh, what a pig. This is where it would be great to have that Nick Fuentes drop.
That sounds like you're saying Jews.
I'm laying down in bed. What did your mom say? First of all, this is how you know that this guy's his brain is attracted to children, is because even if you're a creep, but you're not a pedo, you would, at the worst, you would start typing that message. You would go, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah, part of your subconscious should be like, all right, shut it down.
Right. Now, if you're a normal person, you don't even engage in this conversation. But let's say you were a creep. Like you were a creep, but not you're not going to cross the line to pedo. You go, what did your mom say? And you go, gross. And you'd be done. Not Jake Lang. What did your mom say? How old are you, by the way? I'll ask her tomorrow. And Jake Lang says, I just turned 30, honey. Why you up so late, young lady? Like, I imagine this is like Mr. Kill Everything when he's super hammered talking to Ashley Cummings. Like, you conquered the world. You conquered everything, honey. Why you? God, I missed that rant. I wish if somebody has a link to that clip, of MKE drunkenly, what do they call it?
Chastising or
flirt? I guess flirt, negging, just
negging,
drunkenly negging Ashley Cummings. I love that clip. She said, nice, and I don't know, I be a night owl. Oh, she's black too. No, I might be too young for you, LOL. How old are...
might. Just take the might part out.
Right.
I be too young for you.
I be too young for you. How old are you, baby? Jake Lang wrote. Unless you are under 18, I don't care. Ha ha. And then she wrote, I'm 15, LOL.
Oh, so he has a line. She crossed it. That should be end of convo by his own admission.
Ew, no, look at this. Ew. So she goes, I'm 15, LOL, and then sends a picture. Thankfully, they blurred it out. He writes, when do you turn 16?
And you guessed it, a Jew.
Oh.
Rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
And she says, I turned 16 in 6 months. I won't get you in trouble if that's what you're worried about. I can keep a secret. And then he hearted that message. Oh. And then he goes, what state? He wrote, what state do you live in? I can't see you till you're 16. Dude, Jake Lang's a pedo.
Yeah.
1,000%. Fucking sue me. Send me a cease and desist. Do your worst. This guy, oh my God. This is D'Elia to a T. D'Elia did this. Remember his whole thing was he researched what the age of consent were in different states to see if he could hang out with these girls?
Right.
But he talked to them when they were underage. I mean, this is a subtle form of grooming.
Yeah.
And by the way,
the worst part is every time we see these stories, they follow this playbook of, oh, I've got this rule. Are you under 18? Because I don't fuck around with that. I'm 15. Well, when do you turn 16? Like, wait a minute. What happened to the 18 number you threw out 2 messages ago? I feel like we still are in front of that, so maybe you should fuck off.
Oh my God, is he just an absolute
Jew?
He's I mean, I guess. Arizona, I just moved here. So, and then she sends another photo. And now this guy.
Jake Lang, 17.
Okay, so now we have a little more context here. This is the guy who made the video.
26 has been in the news for doing tons of shit. Yesterday, he was driving around my city for some reason, humping a goat in the back of a van. I wish I was kidding. That's exactly what this weirdo was doing. Jake's not interested in goats. As it turns out, he's interested in young underage women. A friend of mine are
girls. Underage girls. They're not women by definition. And by the way, I don't care if your state does have a age of consent that's 16. You're still a fucking pig as far as I'm concerned. I don't care about you. I don't recognize your laws.
Look, if you're 30 and you're worried about age of consent, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. That's a good point. If you are an adult and you're asking what the age of consent is in a state, you're a piece of shit. Yes.
Alan, aka the Zerg, does underage things. It turns out Jake Lang was stupid enough to give him his number and creepy enough to interact with him thinking that he was a 15-year-old girl.
Oh, this was a catfish.
Nice.
Good work. Good work. Send Andrew Rosen after Jake Lang.
They started working on this back in November when they followed Jake Lang's account. Jake Lang reached out and said, "You coming to my next protest in Texas?"
So they didn't even talk to him first. They just followed him and
the dude was so thirsty for it. He found a catfish on his own like he was noodling for the motherfucker.
There's something that makes me very proud of myself and makes me believe that I've got a sharp intellect about me. When guys like this, you know this from the first time we brought Jake Lang up on the show, my reaction was, something ain't right here. This guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Well, him and the Shirley guys, like they kind of came out together at the same time.
And I was like, both of these guys
they're both controlled opposition and they're fucked up. We You were calling out both of them from the beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to find out Jake Lang was into kids, but you know.
But what I'm saying is, it's just a feeling you get.
You can see it on him.
You don't know what it is, but you know it ain't right. And then when it happens, you go, I knew it. See, I had a vibe. I caught something from this guy.
That guy's crazier than a sack full of cats. You can see it on him.
I prefer rat in a tin shithouse. I like that one.
That is a good one.
Crazier than a rat in a tin shithouse.
Jake immediately goes for the phone number. Now I want to make it apparent that these profiles are very clearly belonging to high school students. I obviously can't show you the profile because that would blow the entire operation,
Right.
but they always have some sort of high school and some throwback to being in high school. But it gets worse. Jake insisted to move it to text message conversation. He said, I have too many DMs. Text only, sweetie. Decoy gives phone number in this message. Jake gets chatty. How old are you, by the way? The decoy asks. He says, I turned 30, honey. Why are you up so late, young lady? How old are you, baby? Unless you are under 18, I don't care. The decoy says, I'm 15 and sends a selfie. And he sends possibly the creepiest message a 30-year-old grown fucking man could send to a 15-year-old. He says, when do you turn 16?
Especially when the selfie looks like that. No, I'm just kidding. Ironically, it kind of looks like if Jake Lang grew a beard and had glasses.
Oh, that's shitty. I mean, this guy, no wonder he's coming out against this guy. He's catching all of Jake Lang's flack.
Decoy then says, in 6 months I turn 16. I won't get you in trouble if that's what you're worried about. I can keep a secret. Jake hearts this message. And he takes it a step further. What state do you live in? I can't see you till you're 16. Jake, you're 30! Is this crazy right-wing influencer thing going so poorly for you that you have to try fucking children?
Answer, yes. I had no idea that Jake Lang was a log cabin Republican. It's news to me.
It's a surprise.
Ugh. By the way, I like this guy Viking in our YouTube chat, in our B chat. Okay. He was convinced mid Nick Fuentes rant that Jake Lang was a Fed. He wrote, Jake Lang is not a Fed. He's an edgelord. And then his very next message was, Lang's a Fed.
Lang's a Fed.
Yeah. Shuli Madoff with $5 says, Jake and minors. He traveled to Israel. He kissed the wall. He's trying to put Christians against Muslims. Makes sense. So I think we're starting to see a redemption arc for Joe Rogan. Don't look now. I could be wrong. But you know how at the beginning of the Epstein stuff, Joe was like really nervous about pushing any of it? Joe Rogan wasn't sure if he should really go all out at Kash Patel or go all. I mean, he had Kash Patel on his show when Elon Musk tweeted out Donald Trump won't release the Epstein files because he's in them. And he had a really uncomfortable moment with Kash, but he still licked his balls. And a lot of people thought that we'd lost Joe Rogan for good, that Joe was done. Joe was full on Team Trump. The Joe Rogan that we needed in order, conspiracy Joe who wanted to get to the truth of everything and wanted to really dig into stuff. Like maybe the hundreds of millions of dollars got to him and it just made him a little lazy, a little lethargic, and he didn't want to go off into the Epstein stuff. Well, he had this professor named Schellenberger on his show. And this Schellenberger fella, Baba Shab, I'll let you do that part. This Schellenberger guy was, and this is always creepy to me, whether it's that journalist guy, Michael Tracy, or anyone else who tries to defend the Epstein files and act like it's not creepy and satanic and pedo-y and human trafficking. To me, whenever I see someone trying to defend the Epstein files, to me, it's a blinking red sign that they know it's human trafficking. They know it's related to Mossad. They know it's an Israeli and CIA joint psyop to blackmail leaders and compel them to do their bidding. But they don't want to go into it because they know where that road leads. So it's just deny, deny, deny. So I think this Schellenberger guy 100% knows what this is. And look, we give Joe Rogan shit when he's wrong. We applaud Joe Rogan when he's right. But usually if he really likes his guest and they start really getting like defensive or forceful about something, Joe will drop it. Nowadays, old school Joe Rogan, he would dig in and go, no, I want to argue about this. Well, I think in this clip from yesterday's show, you're going to see a little new school or a little old school Joe Rogan.
Had assumed that someone murdered him. But you start looking at the evidence for that. Look, maybe there more will come out. And even this last few days, there's some new things that people point to, but they actually are not actually evidence of it. They said, Epstein's brother's attorney or Epstein's brother's examiner said that that he broke his hyoid bone, and the hyoid bone is not usually broken in hangings, only in strangulations. Actually, it is broken in hangings, particularly for older people.
Broken in 3 places.
Yeah, and that's like,
and it's low on his neck.
Yeah, and and that happens.
Also, the lady who was the guard deposited money into her account.
I saw that, but that doesn't. What does that mean?
Okay.
That means it's fucked up that the person guarding Jeffrey Epstein deposited 12 grand in cash into her bank account. And yeah, that by itself, you're right. That doesn't mean anything. But she also was Googling Epstein disappearance just hours before it was announced that he was dead. So did she know something? Bunch of other people on that cell block were Googling him and looking shit up.
Well, she also Googled his name before he died.
All that's totally
okay. But
it's like, let me Scooby-Doo.
Why are you dismissing? I don't understand why you're dismissing this. Because if you're going to pay,
dismissing it, I'm saying.
But hold on, you are. Yeah. But hold on, you are. Because if you do have a guard, and all of a sudden this guard acquires several payments,
dude, honestly, with the way the culture and the world is right now, if my last name is Schellenberger, I'm probably going harder on the Epstein files than I need to. I'm going out of my way to be like, because this guy obviously knows something stinks and something's up, and he's trying to like defend it. It's like, I would go harder because I'm like, I don't want people to think that I'm, this Schellenberger.
He made several deposits. One of them was $5,000 just 10 days before he died. And then the cameras are cut. Okay. And then they mysteriously don't pay attention to the cell of one of the most important defendants of any case.
Who, by the way, had the shit beaten out of him nearly to death not that long ago before this.
Gigantic public case involving enormously famous public figures. And then this guy hangs himself while he's on suicide watch?
Now remember, he tried to commit suicide.
I understand, but why are you not letting me finish what I'm saying? Sorry. Because that alone is weird. That alone is weird. That the cameras are cut, that there's no video of it. The whole thing is weird. You don't think it's weird?
Well,
you don't think it's weird that this guy, that he just finds a way to hang himself in this cage?
I thought I had that same story. I was like, the cameras are cut. The security guards are asleep.
All those things are true.
All those things are true.
Yeah, all those things are true. So that guy goes, I thought of all those things too. So now he's got to work himself out of that. So now you have to do mental. It's always frustrating when it comes to the Epstein stuff when the quote unquote conspiracy theorists like us seem to have A, B, C logic on the whole deal. And then the people who aren't conspiracy theorists on it, who don't think something's weird, they're the ones who have to do all this mental gymnastics to make it not make sense. Hey, A, B to C, we can Occam's razor this thing and it looks like a conspiracy. And the non-conspiracy people are like, well, yeah, all that stuff together does look bad, but how do you know she didn't have a bad day 2 weeks before? And maybe she had taken out some cash a year ago and she forgot about it. And then she deposited it then. And then, anybody can Google Jeffrey Epstein disappearance a few hours before his death. I mean, why is that a weird thing? And, the cameras being out, cameras go out in prisons almost never, but I'm sure sometimes. It's like, you guys have to do so many hula hoops of forgiveness to make it not a conspiracy that we actually, in my opinion, we look like the more reasonable ones.
It's also true that the cameras went out a long time before that night. It didn't just go out that night before. Security guards fall asleep at night all the time.
Well, then it's totally fine yeah, security cameras and guards fall asleep all the time when they're watching petty thieves. When they're watching the misdemeanor wing, they might fall asleep. Now, I've been to jail for 6 days, and I was in the misdemeanor wing. None of those guards fell asleep. They were up and at 'em. They were watching TV. They were behind the desk. They were on the computer. They didn't fall asleep.
Attempted suicide, I believe 18 days before.
18 days before, he said that his roommate tried to kill him. Did you know that? Do you know his roommate was a cop that had killed 4 people in contract killings? His cop roommate, his cellmate, was a murderer. He was a guy who was a drug-dealing cop who had killed 4 people in contract killings. And that was his fucking jailmate. And 18 days before, he said that guy tried to kill him.
But he said that.
So you have one of the top federal prisoners, one of the most high-profile federal prisoner who has a lot of dirt. And now we're seeing in the Epstein files, Wexner and the 9/11 guy, Howard, the guy in the Trump administration. not Kirchner. God damn, why am I blanking on Howard's not Howard Kurtz. Not Levitt. Fucking hell. I've been saying his name for a year now. The guy who conveniently had to take his kids to school on 9/11, even though he spent every day in the towers.
That's his.
Is there any
look
doubt
at that guy?
Yeah.
That is his.
Like, you have that guy as your cellmate, even though you're one of the most high-profile guys out there, and he's a sex offender. Remember that he's a convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein, and you're going to put him in there with a violent crooked police officer? They would never do that.
Fucking cellmate. Why would you put a guy who's one of the most high-profile defendants in any case ever in a cell with a hired killer who's a giant gorilla, like this huge fucking jacked Italian guy?
But he wasn't in the cell with him that night. He was by himself.
By the way, a jacked Italian guy, totally not racist and totally non-offensive to call him a jacked gorilla. It's probably the most accurate description I've heard of a really muscular Italian guy ever.
Is the guy who 18 days before Epstein said tried to kill him.
But Epstein tried to kill himself. I don't think there's any doubt about that, right?
I don't know if there's, I've never seen him say it, but I do know that he said that guy tried to kill him, and they found him unresponsive 18 days before. He said that guy tried to kill him.
And couldn't he have lied about that?
That guy was trying to get money.
Listen to this guy. Couldn't he have lied about that? This is what I mean. The hoops that they all have to jump through to make it not true. Well, couldn't he lied about that? Yeah, but why would he lie about that? I mean, the guy's a giant killer. He's literally killing is what he does. Epstein is a pedo. This guy's going to want to kill him.
Couldn't he have lied about that?
Video outside cell during Jeffrey Epstein's first suicide attempt no longer exists. How weird.
Weird.
Yeah, why would he lie about that? He's in
because he doesn't want to have a
guy who he's already saying this guy's trying to extort him.
Yeah.
He's already saying this guy's trying to get money from him, and this guy is a known killer. He's killed 4 people in contract killings. How did you not know about that?
I will say it's possible.
But hold on, how did you not know about that?
I did know about that.
I love it. I love that old I wish we could get this Joe more often. I have a theory. Do you think that maybe Joe's doing too many shows? That maybe if we got once a week Joe Rogan, new episodes drop every Wednesday, that we would get an invigorated, fucking ready to go fighting Joe like he's going after this Schellenberger dickhead who works at the University of Texas at Austin?
You knew about the guy being a contract killer?
Well, no, I
his
knew.
Cellmate?
Yeah, I knew that story, but I mean, he didn't have a cellmate at the night of his death, right? That was one of the mistakes they made, is that because he was supposed to be on suicide watch, he was supposed to have a cellmate, didn't have a cellmate. I think that, look,
that was one of the mistakes they made, you see? Oh, they just made a mistake. We're supposed to have another guy in there with this guy who's on you-know-what watch. We just spaced on it. You know, like the cameras just happened to be broken. Like the guards just happened to be away at that time. Like the other guard just happened to have an influx of cash and was Googling about Epstein the night he died. You know, this is what I mean. To be anti-conspiracy, you have to stick your head in the sand and come up with all kinds of crazy theories.
18 days before he did have a cellmate, and 18 days before he said that guy tried to kill him.
But 18 days before he tried to commit suicide. That's my understanding.
I don't know if that's true, though. I don't know if that's true.
Guys, let me do this. This is fun. I get to be Jamie. Aaron, look that shit up. Did Epstein try to kill himself earlier? Yes, he was found in his jail cell roughly 2 weeks before his death in what was widely reported as a prior attempt. Following this incident, he was placed on watch, but later removed. And then there was the beating. So they're both right. There was the beating, and there was also the first attempt.
I don't know why they would put him in jail with a contract killer.
Well, I mean, who's in that jail? Aren't the people in that jail pretty rough?
His cellmate is a contract killer. Why would he be in
It's a federal prison. There's all kinds of people in there. They're just people who broke federal law and are like awaiting trial for federal crimes. So you could have like non-violent drug offenders that caught a federal beef, racketeering, fraud, financial crimes. It doesn't have to be the big violent killer. It's not full of big violent killers.
Cell with a cop who's a contract killer.
I mean, aren't there a lot of
the night Jeffrey Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him. New documents revealed Jeffrey Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him in an incident before his death.
Yeah, but we don't.
Okay, but
we don't know if that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you dismissing it, though?
I'm not dismissing it, Joe. Look, maybe more evidence will come out. I'm just saying, like, if you look at the evidence we have.
Maybe new evidence will come out. How much fucking evidence are you going to need? I mean, this is like the people who say, you can't say that Pizzagate was real. Well, they're not going to come out and say, oh, they're not going to have a Rosetta Stone in the email that says, hey, pizza means fucking kids. They're not going to do that. So we have to be human beings with functioning brains, and we have to take the words that are in there and we have to deduce things from it. And when they keep saying, hey, what kind of pizza would you like for this date? And how many would you like? 1,000 pizzas? Would you like the pizza to be 6? Would you like the pizza to have 7 sausage pieces on it? It's like, you know, they're not fucking talking about, did you like the beef jerky? Do you enjoy the beef jerky? Should we bury the beef jerky? How would you like the beef jerky to be prepared next time? How many pieces of beef jerky should there be? I'm sorry, they're not fucking talking about beef jerky. But this cunt of a professor would be like, well, how do you know that's what they're talking about? Because I'm not an ape.
To dismiss it.
No, I'm saying I was confident it was a homicide, and now I'm not.
Were you aware of this?
Yeah, of course, all that stuff.
You were aware that he tried to kill him?
Of course.
You were aware that
he said that.
Well, how come you never brought it up before? You seemed shocked when I brought it up.
Well, because my understanding is it was a suicide attempt 18 days before.
Okay, but if he said this guy tried to kill him 18 days before, why didn't you take that into consideration?
No, it is. I mean, I'm just saying that was all. That was part of.
No, it doesn't seem like you took it into consideration at all, and you're looking to dismiss it.
I didn't know. My view earlier was that it was a homicide because the hyoid bone doesn't break when you have hangings. He said he didn't want to commit suicide. The video went out. The security guards are asleep. I mean, there was a huge investigation of this by the inspector general. So the number of people that would.
How is he going to kill himself on suicide watch with paper clothes? He's going to lean on the bed and strangle himself with the clothes they give you. Here's how I could believe that he did it himself. He was told by his intelligence people who control him as an asset that said, hey, everybody's gone. Ghislaine's gone. Everybody's gone. You got to take yourself out. We're going to set it up for you. You're going to do it. And there is a rumor that one of the guards that brought, that deposited the cash into their account, that they brought him like regular prison clothes at one point, and they're not supposed to. And that might be how he did it. Otherwise, I have no problem believing that somebody got into his cell while the cameras were off and the guards were gone, and they, strangled him and made it look like a you-know-what.
Have had to been involved in this conspiracy and cover-up is very large.
But these federal prisoners on S-word watch don't off themselves. They just don't. It doesn't happen. So, I mean, this was just such a rarity that it should raise red flags. Then you add on top of it how high profile the guy was and what he meant to everybody. And yeah, it doesn't look right.
It's a large number of people who are in this job to be do-gooders. And so maybe there was some evidence.
They're not in the job to be
do-gooders. Oh, yeah, they are.
Sometimes they're in the job to be do-gooders.
No, I've known prison guards. I have friends who were prison guards, neighbors who've been prison guards. They all do it for the money and the benefits. They do it because the job they had before was really, really shitty, and at least this one will pay for their health insurance. They'll get a pension. You're not going to get wealthy being a federal prison guard, but you're not going to starve. And if you're like a day laborer or whatever who doesn't have good benefits on your job, it's not the worst place to work.
Sometimes they're influenced by very powerful figures that want a particular result. Does that not happen?
But we underestimate.
Hold on a second. Does that not happen in the real world? It does, right? And wouldn't you imagine if you're dealing with multiple billionaires that may be compromised by the evidence that this guy's going to relay in a trial, that would be one of the times that they would want to exert that kind of influence?
It's possible.
This is what I'm saying. With what we've seen in the Epstein files, just the stuff they're willing to show us, just the co-conspirators, Howard Lutnick, by the way, I couldn't think of it. Just the co-conspirators that they've shown us, that they're willing to show us. I mean, you really think they wanted this thing going to trial? I mean, even the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, they locked up the black book. They locked up the client list. They won't let the public see it. And it should be released already, but it hasn't been. There's no way they were going to let that guy go to trial.
And like I said, in our piece, we wrote it's possible. But I think at this point, we don't know. I don't think we have the evidence either way. And that's, for me, that's the change. I went from, I think it was a homicide, to now I don't know. I didn't understand that he committed suicide 18 days before.
No. He didn't commit suicide 18 days before. His cellmate tried to kill him 18 days before.
That's what he said, right?
They found him unresponsive He said my cellmate tried to kill me.
Yeah, but how do we know that? Why would we think?
Okay, and then was it
this guy? I mean, it's weird to me. Michael Tracy, this Schellenberger guy, these people who want to believe it was all on the up and up, even though all of the evidence, their intelligence, their instincts are telling them, no, not a chance. For some reason, I don't know. They just can't admit it to themselves that it looks fucked up. I don't know if they're just being contrarian or if it's something else.
Reported that it was an attempted suicide to try to dismiss the fact that his cellmate was trying to kill him because they wanted his cellmate to kill him. We don't know, but you can't dismiss that.
The psychologist thought he was suicidal. They, I think
dude, it's a federal prison. I guarantee that a large percentage of the people there want to die.
He could have lied about the room. He didn't want to have a roommate. That's like why, and they didn't have.
This is what I mean. They got to make stuff up, and I'm sorry I'm pausing so much. The people who watch this on clips this weekend are going to hate this. This is what I mean about this guy. You see what I'm talking about? How many hoops he has to jump through to make what we believe not true? Well, maybe anytime you're getting into a guy's head and telling us what he thought, that's shaky ground you're standing on.
Why would you want to have a roommate who's a fucking contract killer, who's a sociopathic cop who killed 4 guys?
But if you're a contract killer and you're in Epstein's cell, why would you want Epstein to die in your cell?
Because you want to kill him because people are going to give you like extra cigarettes at the commissary.
Yeah, because he's a fucking pedo who's on his second offense. He's an alleged sex trafficker of children. And you're a contract killer. Those guys die. I'm sorry, but you get the murderers in prison, and usually in prison, they won't mix the pedos with the killers because the killers will kill them. And if you're the guy who kills Epstein in prison, dude, you are top of the food chain, bro.
Do we have any evidence?
Who fucking
for that,
knows? No, but who fucking knows?
Yeah, but we don't know.
This is a guy who already kills people, and he's in jail forever. He's going to be in jail forever. So for that guy, you say, will you kill that guy for me? Like, it's not even much of a stretch.
It's not much of a stretch that Epstein would have killed himself.
It's not much of a stretch that guy killed him either. If he's telling the truth, that there was a report 18 days before that guy tried to kill him.
We just don't know. I mean, that's
well, we certainly don't know, but I don't understand why you would want to make the conclusion that he tried to kill himself.
It's not
this
conclusion.
Guy who's a contract killer was not actually trying to kill him when he said he was 18 days before.
Well, Joe, I mean,
I like that. That's about. There's like 10 seconds left. This guy's a joke, but between this video of Joe pushing back big time on his guest and also Joe really starting to criticize Trump and really starting to go after him on this Iran thing, I don't want to say that Joe Rogan's back. I've had my heart broken by celebrities way too often to put my faith and stock in them, for decades now. But man, I'd welcome Joe back into the fight, and he's been making some pretty good moves. We've got the dick chopper guy.
Yeah.
This I want to see if we can find a video version, not like him chopping off his cock or anything,
but just a video summary of it.
A video summary.
This morning. This is not awesome.
Because TMZ has it, but I want the reporters to tell me what happened. I want to see how the local news handles a guy dying via chopping his cock off. I mean,
that wasn't the only factor, but yeah.
Here we go.
Definitely wasn't planning to stay.
I've got onscene.tv. Oh, this could be something. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, this isn't a news report. They put a white tent over it. Yeah, that's not what I want.
Why do they make it look like a piece of bacon on the screen? I'm not okay with that.
Well, wow, they really don't have any. No news network wanted to tackle
Nobody
this
wants
one.
to go on camera and say, man cut off his penis.
Well, yeah, I guess, because how do you address it? Like, what do? Do you go, a guy cut off his cock today in downtown Los Angeles in front of the convention center. One man was so PO'd he cut his pee off. I mean, we could try this. We could go with news teases. I mean, let's do it. Seeing as we don't actually get a video version of this story, we could come up with our own headlines.
Yeah.
In further evidence that you'd no longer want to walk around half-cocked, a man in downtown Los Angeles died in front of the convention center today after severing his own penis.
Several witnesses say the man who mutilated his own penis was a real dick.
Well, it certainly took balls for someone to pull this off. A man in Los Angeles cut off his, what would you say, genitals, right?
Yeah, mutilated his genitals.
Mutilated his, because you can't say cut your cock off on the news.
Filed off his phallus.
Oh, a filed phallus was listed as the partial reason for a death today in downtown Los Angeles. One man, too cocky for his own good, bled out on the sidewalk. And see, I wouldn't say bled out on the sidewalk. They pitched a tent over a man who can't anymore in downtown Los Angeles this afternoon.
Oh, Los Angeles. I'm amazed they didn't report it as shocking news. Trans man dies from
A trans man died after a botched gender reassignment surgery today after he tried to make a cunt out of his cock and ended up making an ass of himself. I like that. That might be my favorite one yet. I might like that one the best. A man leaked fluids from his genitals onto the sidewalk today, but don't worry, it wasn't jizz. He bled to death after trying to castrate himself.
A man screamed bloody murder as he held his bloody member.
Oh. Well, certainly Joey Chestnut has better results at his wiener challenges than this particular man died. Let's let the professionals handle this. A man in Los Angeles died Friday night after cutting off his own genitalia. Now, Johnny said it earlier. He said, "Oh, well, that was one of the reasons." No. If you cut your dick off and you died, we're not going to list the other reasons why you died. You died from cutting your dick off. It's way too funny that way for us to make it about something else. Like if you're like, if a guy cuts off his dick and he's a hemophiliac and he bled to death, you don't say, "Oh, he died from hemophilia." No one's going to click on that. You say the guy died from cutting his wiener off.
Okay, I understand.
Well, what else? Okay, so now ruin it for us.
Well, it's just, I just read further into the story.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. Spoil it for everyone.
It's just he also sliced his throat and stabbed himself and tried to cut off his arm. I just feel like this guy was going to bleed to death no matter what at that point.
What if he just was going for the throat from the beginning? He was just missing.
I told you to aim for the head. Wrong head!
He cuts his own dick off, and before he slits his own throat, he goes, You should have went for the head. Oh my God, that's way more traumatic than it had to be. You will die from cutting your dick off, though.
Oh yeah, no, you totally will. He would have still died. It's just like I said, at this point, which one is the one that killed him?
Another homeless man said, "You owe me $50 for fentanyl," and he went, "And this gives you power over me," and then cut his own dick off. You're like, wow, that guy really doesn't want to pay me. My God. You're supposed to suck those for drugs, not cut them off. God,
boy.
Damn. The Los
Now you tell me.
The Los Angeles Police Department received a call about a man harming himself. See, that's too vague, because if you say, "Oh, there's a man harming himself downtown in LA," the cops are like, "Yeah, we'll get there in a second." But if you go, "Help, somebody's cutting his dick off," they go, "We'll be right there."
911, what's your emergency? I'm watching a dude with a box cutter in one hand and his penis in the other. You might want to get down here.
He's playing a game. He's a box cutter, and his cock is a passenger on 9/11.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean? Jews told him to do it? No, that's not what I mean. After arriving on the scene, they set up a white tent to keep onlookers from seeing the man's body. I think it would be funnier if they just put a tarp over his dick. Though a videographer at the scene captured pools of blood staining the sidewalk. Yeah, so there's blood there.
At least Charlie Kirk's tent was available.
Another guy who died from a vicious shot to the head area. God, why did you have to bring Charlie into this? Now, I'm not going to be able to.
I can't not see that with the white tent and just feel like his balls went off first.
Oh, no. I can still see the TPUSA logo. God damn it. Law enforcement. No, it's okay. Erika Kirk's totally fine with that being out in public now as long as you rent it. Remember,
Right.
she put the tent up at America Fest. Hey, pose for a picture where my husband was murdered. That's fun, right?
Yeah.
That's like Jackie Onassis having an event and going, hey, you want to sit in this convertible?
Sit where my husband got his brains blown out.
Yeah. Hey, Mary Todd Lincoln is going to have a big benefit for Abe. She figured Ford's Theater would be a great place. You can even sit in the seat if you want to.
Oh, dear Lord.
By the way, who gives their daughter the middle name Todd? Ugh.
Somebody who wants her to stay single.
Right. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ the man cut off his penis, sliced his throat, and stabbed himself with a sharp instrument. Clearly a flute. He also tried to cut off his arm. Boy, this whole thing is kind of a race against the clock. A race against the cock clock, if you will. But like once you cut off your dick, you're on borrowed time.
Yeah, because there's a lot of arteries down there. You're going to bleed quite profusely.
So is it in that order? So he goes, cuts the cock off, slices his throat, starts stabbing himself, and then starts to... Dude.
I guess he wasn't dying fast enough.
I mean, it's commitment. He's not a pussy. Well, I mean, he's not a dick either anymore. He's kind of somewhere in between. It's unclear at this time what he used to harm himself. I would say mental illness. Officers also do not know the man's motivation. Oh, God. Or if he was on drugs at the time. Hey, let me save you some time and energy. 1,000%.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty bold assumption. What, just because he's homeless? Just because he cut off his dick, sliced his throat, stabbed himself, and tried to remove his own arm? You think there's a substance involved? Shame on you.
No, you're right. I'm clearly being irresponsible. It's on me. All you got to do is scoop up a little bit of his blood that's still sitting there fresh on the sidewalk, and you'll be able to figure it out. Oh, what a terrible way to go. I mean, I'm not saying there's a lot of good ways to die, but that ain't one of them.
Better ones than that.
Oh, my. Satan's Mechanic says, what drugs was he on is my first question. I think a better question is, what drugs wasn't he on? Yeah. Sam Show says, clearly he was on the good shit. Cops got there and they looked at him and they said, how'd you get the beans above the Franks? I stole that joke because MSO wrote, we got a bleeder.
Oh, no.
Oh. Das Optic Nerve says his trans name was Ivana Kucherkakov. Oh, Russian.
Lived up to it.
Yeah. Reformed Rapscallion says, walking into a bar saying, listen, gay F words, I'm not down with this shit. I'll take on all comers. Aaron was never the same. No, we're making fun of the guy who cut his dick off, not me. Shane F says, oddly, I think you can get a pic sitting in the limo at the museum. Oh, you can take a picture in the Kennedy car? That's how you...
kind of gross. We made that as a joke.
That's how you know our government killed him. Is they're like, hey, you can sit in the thing where we executed a world leader. It's kind of part of the hiding in plain sight sort of a thing.
All right, now say, don't rock the boat on 3. Don't rock the boat.
All right, on 3, say, nukes, what nukes? All right, on 3, say, AIPAC doesn't have to be a foreign agent. Fucking
polish the gold standard.
Yeah. And like if you don't pose for the photo, you don't say what they say. Fucking say it now. Like, oh, sorry, you guys don't fuck around here. I apologize.
See that stain on that car? You know why that stain's there? Because the guy before you thought he was fucking cute. All right, don't start this.
Oh, you want to say that AIPAC has to register as a foreign agent? You know who else thought that was a good idea? The guy whose head got blown off. Yeah. Not so funny now, is it, you little dickhead? Learn who your real gods are. Oh. All of a sudden, I'm not having a very good time here at this field trip. Just all really become confrontational really fast. Let's go. Okay, so anyway, I started this by saying we're going to get into the fraud stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. I mean, if there's a rock in Minnesota, at this point, I'm pretty sure you could turn it over, and there's a Somali hiding daycare money under it.
So wait, is it the usual suspects again for this? Is maybe
the first
I was
one?
hopeful we had like some good old fashioned white fraud. We used to.
Oh
do that.
no, it's hard to catch white fraud, dude, because like I said, white fraud is a long game. The Somalis, it's more like a game of hungry hippos. That's there. Okay, let me put it this way. White fraud is Stratego. You ever play Stratego?
Yeah.
Okay, white fraud is Stratego. All right? It's a game of chess. Somali fraud is hungry hippos, rock'em sock'em robots. You know, you go to Chuck E. Cheese and you go in that tube thing, and a bunch of certificates are flying around. You grab as many of them as you can. Mm-hmm. That's Somali fraud. Everyone's on the outside looking into the tube going, they're just grabbing a fuckload of money. But on the inside, the Somali's like, I don't care if anyone's looking at me. I got to grab as many of these certificates as I can. And that's a good way to explain their fraud. Hungry hippos, Chuck E. Cheese, wind tunnel. Again, white fraud, boring. Risk, Stratego, chess. That's why we don't get caught. Nobody looks at the guy playing chess and goes, oh, we should stare at him for a while. Because then you get bored and you're like, this is gay. But the Somali in the wind tunnel playing hungry hippos, you're like, holy shit, that skinny is really hammering on that hippo button. Jesus. By the way, check swing on taking the Lord's name in vain on that one. I pulled the nose up at the end.
Right at the end.
So first I have the Minnesota fraud czar testifying at the Capitol. Then I have not Corn Hoggard, my other favorite Minnesota reporter, Lou Ragoose. The goose is loose, and he's telling us about another Somali fraud case. So we'll get to all that in a second. Here we go. This is the first one. Everybody hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow. I'm shot out of a cannon today. Let's go.
This fraud crisis is back in the spotlight at the state capitol.
Yay.
The man tasked with investigating and finding solutions for the problem testified before lawmakers this morning. Our Barrett Leone listened into that hearing, joins us here now. So Barrett, what did we learn here?
Well, Aaron, Tim O'Malley, the governor's newly appointed director of program integrity, testified before the Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Policy Committee this morning. This after he released a 56-page report showing the issue stems back decades last month.
Oh.
That's not a good thing. That means that this entire administration with this governor, everybody before him, and that means people have been bringing attention to this and we've been ignoring it for how long now? Right. It's not for a voting block at all. Why would you think that?
No, it goes back decades, which means, think about it. Think of all the Minnesotans who are like, hey, man, we got to stop all this fraud that's going on right now. No. You don't understand. We got to go back and catch the fraud from 15 years ago. Then we can start working up to the fraud that's going on today. We've set ourselves behind quite a bit.
Now, the report also lays out a long-term strategy that will stop fraud before it happens and shift the state's approach from...
It's called deporting Somalis.
And stop importing them.
Yes, we've got a plan to stop fraud. Wow, that's great, Republican minority. What's your plan? Well, first we have to beat you guys in the election. Then we have to deport everyone who owns a Somali daycare or healthcare company. I'm not going to deport Uber drivers. What's the point? Why spend the money deporting an Uber driver? Let him pay his tax, whatever. But if you're a Somali and you're running a daycare, an autism center, a home healthcare company, you got to go. I'm just going to go guilty until proven innocent. And they're like, oh, but then we'll lose a lot of autism centers, home health cares, and daycares. I'm like, don't worry. White and black people will pick up the slack. Well,
I got bad news for you. We really weren't using them. Like, we're paying for them. We're not using them.
That's a good point. Guys, plus, if we deport their families, nobody's going to need daycare anyway.
Yeah, you and your autistic kids can go back to your dirt hovel, and we'll just kind of keep things going here. And if you don't like it, too bad, so sad. Wish you hadn't stolen all that.
Go start daycares in your mud hut. It'll be fine.
Nobody pays for that, though.
That's true. A warlord just comes by and shoots you in the head and takes your kids and make them soldiers.
to preventing it at the front end. The plan focuses on stronger oversight, better data sharing between agencies, improved training for state employees, and new accountability measures across government programs.
When you hear the millions of dollars that Somalis are applying for through Medicaid funding, and you go, oh, we're going to have better training and we're going to have better detection. All you have to do is open your eyes and look at their application. Like, we're not asking you to do a Herculean task. We're asking you to take a look at the obvious lie that's going on here and go, oh, that's bullshit. Let's go investigate them. Like, we're not asking for the moon.
I mean, we could just kind of, I don't know. It seems like incredibly insensitive and stuff, but we could just assume that pretty much all of the Somalians coming to Minnesota to start these businesses are fraudulent.
Yes.
Like you said, assume guilty until proven innocent. It's kind of a fucked up way to do things, but mathematically speaking, you're going to catch way more that way.
Your mic is still a little low. You got to come up. I don't know if you did something to it, but you got to come up just a little bit.
O'Malley says there's good news as he believes many state workers are committed to fixing the problem.
See, like, this guy looks racist. He could pull this off if he wanted to.
Every state employee I met with seems to me has a very strong commitment to helping solve this problem. They've been forthcoming. They've been cooperative. They've been very responsive to my requests. They provided any information I wanted. They adjusted their schedules, and they're working together on new approaches.
It's almost like if we don't let them work with their thumbs squarely placed up their own ass, that they would actually be able to do their job and stop this stuff.
Well, they were doing their job and stopping it, but we kept telling them no.
Hey, stop stopping that. Why? Because they
Stop
can't
noticing fraud. That's my job. Well, then just take your money and sit there like a good Somali.
Go to the lake. What are you doing? It's so it's not that they couldn't do. So that's the most frustrating part about all this Minnesota stuff. It's like, it's not that we couldn't do it. It's that we chose not to.
Right. And nobody can tell us why, but it's totally not because this is a very important voting block to keep the Democrats in power in Minnesota.
80,000 Somalis here. It's not about tipping the scales in elections that were previously decided by less than 1,000 votes.
We also heard testimony from a Department of Human Services employee about conditions in the State Department, specifically about instances of retaliation. Before testimony began, Republican Representative Kristen Roberts.
Interesting. You notice there's 10 seconds left in the story. They don't show us that clip on WCCO News.
Oh.
Not like our media is complicit in any of this. Oh, by the way, also at this fraud hearing, we also heard from Department of Human Services employees who said when they tried to raise the fraud issue, they were retaliated against. Oh, that's interesting. You might consider making this news report another 2 minutes longer so we could hear some of their stories about how they were intimidated into not reporting fraud of the taxpayer. Nah, we're good. We'll see you guys later. Like, that's... I mean, that's a pretty clear fuck you. If you ask me, that is.
And then it's just the people in the state are going to sit back and take this for how long? And when those people flip out and decide they've had enough, do you think they're going to pick the rational way of going, well, we're going to investigate every one of these people and hold it? No. They're just, you're going to get some nut job that goes, all right, I see you skinny. Bang. Like, that's going to be a problem. And I'm not in favor of that. And that's going to happen if we keep just ignoring this issue.
By the way, Redbird says, why did the Somalis choose Minnesota? They didn't. They didn't. We chose it for them. So the way this, it's amazing that, you know, we kind of know this stuff because, you know, we've had to learn about it. But there has been how do you say it? There's been a system where these Somalis, it's not like people have this idea that the way the Somali thing works is like it's Ellis Island and they come in and they go and they settle wherever they want. That's not what it is at all. What happens is these, what do they call them? These non-government organizations, these NGOs. They go and they get people from Somalia And then when they go and get people from Somalia and they bring them here, there's a program that our government has. It's called refugee resettlement. The government helps resettle all of these Somali immigrants. And the way they do that is they basically have states sign up for the program and then they send them to those areas. And wouldn't you know it, a lot of the places that Somalis got resettled was purple states that were between blue and red, and small red congressional districts in blue or red states that might be able to get flipped. And then when the Somalis got there, they gave them a bunch of social services, a lot of welfare, a lot of EBT that basically had property of the Democratic Party stamped on it, so you knew who it was coming from.
And especially since they're the only party saying we don't want to cut those benefits, we want to keep them going. So
yeah. So now You'll Be Fine says, yeah, Aaron, but why Minnesota? I'll try to explain it a little clearer. Minnesota's elections, like I'm talking 2010. This is only 10, 15 years ago. Minnesota's elections were very close. We almost elected a governor. He's a congressman now. You know who he is, Tom Emmer. We almost elected a guy named Tom Emmer. He lost by like 500 votes. Al Franken was in a Senate election that he won by 300 votes. And the Democrats, and we had just gotten done with Tim Pawlenty as governor. In fact, no, Pawlenty was there until 2012. 2026. He was there until 2010, ironically. Tim Pawlenty was a 2-term Republican governor. Before that, we had 4 years of Ventura. Before that, we had 8 years of Arnie Carlson. So we had a solid 20 years of non-Democratic governors in Minnesota. It was all Republicans or right-leaning independents like Jesse, who was right-leaning at the time. So what Minnesota did was they said, we need more Democratic voters. And instead of like going and talking to farmers and talking to rural people and convincing them to vote Democrat, they figured, let's sign up for this refugee resettlement program. Let's get a shitload of third world people in here. Let's fast track them to citizenship and let them vote. And now Minnesota can't elect a Republican to save their soul.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would think that this whole thing with the Somalians is entirely political. It just doesn't make sense. It seems to me like we're just trying to be good people. Minnesota nice, just helping out our neighbors.
To me, saying that, Johnny, is really irresponsible. And I can't believe you would say something like that. Guys, thank you very much. We're off to a good start. We're only an hour and a half into today's show. We're almost at 600. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow, especially on Rumble. You guys are doing great, and I do appreciate it. Again, hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow. YouTube down about 40 people or so, but again, we're not at our peak yet, so still plenty of time to get there. Let's see if we can hit 700 today. Why not? Like, subscribe, follow. If you're just joining us, I'm sorry, but there's no goals today. There's no goals tomorrow. You guys are 25 away from hitting tonight. So 5 gifted memberships means tonight's taken care of. Jit, thank you so much, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you so much. So we got a new Somali fraud story, or an update on a Somali fraud story. And this is our buddy Lou Ragoose, who he's reporting on all this fraud. And Kara Levin is dedicating so little television time to this, just like we saw with WCCO. They did a 1.5 minute segment. They left a lot of clips on the table, stuff we would have loved to hear about, like the revenge being taken against the Department of Human Services workers that are trying to expose this fraud. So now Lou Ragoose, if he wants to report on fraud, he's got to sit there with his cell phone in his car and talk about it.
Because, like a bitchy lady on her lunch break.
Yes, he's doing a big arch food review. He's basically Lou Ragoose has become review bra if we want to report on Somali fraud in Minnesota, because Kara Levin's not doing it on TV. And this is starting to embarrass the local news in Minnesota, because these are starting to get more hits than their nightly news ratings do. Because surprise, surprise, this is the shit Minnesotans want to hear about, not, paid family leave and shit. So this is Lou Ragoose with an update on Minnesota fraud, and I'm sure it's going to be great news.
I have more new details about the amount of taxpayer money given to the latest suspect charged in the Feeding Our Future fraud case. Fahima Mahmoud owned a daycare.
Protestant?
I was guessing a Catholic based on the dress.
Oh, no. You know what? She might be a nun. You're right. No, she's not, because it's the Lenten season. The color's purple. So
yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you for that information.
You would have, but if you hadn't known the color scheme, you would have definitely thought Catholic.
Right?
Yeah, me too. She kind of looks like she's giving, as the kids say, something. I'm trying to figure out who she looks like. It's bothering me. Franklin the Turtle. I'm getting Franklin the Turtle vibes. Maybe it's the green. Maybe it's the beak. Maybe it's the beady eyes that are casting a Somali spell on me. But I'm getting Franklin vibes from her.
An autism center and a group home. Midwest Group Home LLC has received $1.9 million in Medicaid reimbursement since 2021. Muhammad is still a 50% owner.
This is like the tip of the iceberg thing. This is what a lot of people outside of Minnesota don't understand, is how deep this Somali fraud goes. So you heard a second ago, she was part of the Feeding Our Future thing.
Mm-hmm.
Feeding Our Future was a program where you ran a restaurant and you reported that you served a bunch of kids meals and you turned that into the federal government and they reimburse you. The problem was none of these Somali restaurants were serving anybody. So they were just getting cash. It was extra.
Weird.
So that was her original sin. That was her original crime. Well, now they're looking in and they're finding out that she's part of this Midwest Group Home LLC that took $1.9 million. Now you're going to find out later in the story she's involved in the daycare thing. So here's another assumption you can safely make about Somali fraud in Minnesota. If they're involved in one, they're probably involved in all of it, because what they do is they start these shell corporations and they all have the same mailing address. And it's some office park in Minneapolis or Brooklyn Center or somewhere like that. And they just get checks. That's it.
Great.
Yeah.
I got to sign up for that shit.
Oh, you're white. They'll catch you in a heartbeat. So what this woman did was she was Feeding Our Future. And we went, oh, we got her. All right. Somali fraud. And they're like, oh, shit. You know what? Turns out she's part of the group home thing. Oh, shit. You know what? Turns out she's part of the daycare thing. Oh, shit. Turns out she's part of the autism thing. And this isn't a one-off or a coincidence. They're finding a lot of Somalis involved in these programs that have them all across the board. And all of the restaurant owners own a daycare, and all of the daycare owners own an autism center, and all of the autism centers own a home health care company.
And we're just paying them hand over fist. Who gives a fuck?
Oh man, they're making bank.
Like, good luck finding somewhere to live, war veteran. Fuck our troops.
Right? Exactly. Congratulations on losing a leg for our country, but Human Services is out of cash for you. We had to pay the Somali group home people.
Muhammad is still a 50% owner. Minneapolis Autism Center has received $3 million since 2021. Mahmoud is a former owner. It's not entirely clear at what point she was no longer connected. Her daycare, Future Leaders Early Learning Center, received the most child care assistance program money in the state last year at $3.7 million.
In a year!
In a year, guys.
1 year. Now, the first one, the home health care, was 1.9 over 4 years. You know, it was like $500,000 a year. All right. This is 3.7 million in 1 year. And yes, we're still talking about the same lady who had the home health care, the autism center, and the Feeding Our Future. And again, we're finding this pattern with a lot of Somalis, that they're involved in all of it across the board. And that's the problem. They have no chill.
And the scariest part is, even if we do, against all the odds of a government that doesn't want to and whistleblowers that are ignored, if we get them into court and we get a jury of their peers to go, wow, these people are stealing a lot of fucking money, these people are guilty, we get some asshole judge who looks at it and goes, no, you guys are being racist, I feel like all this is circumstantial, I'm throwing out the ruling, and so I guess we won't hold anyone accountable.
You understand, like, I didn't even know that was allowed in our judicial system until they did that with the Somali fraud stuff.
Right? It seems like one of those things that should be illegal in and of itself.
Yeah. Hey, so this judge overturned your conviction. Oh, was there a problem with the process? Like, that's how they get overturned on appeal. There was a problem with process or whatever. No, the process was good. The trial was good. Oh, was this judge involved in the case? And no, they weren't involved at all. Oh, weird. Was there new evidence that came forward? No, everything was the same. Did they find a problem with the jury not adhering to the rules? No, jury did a fine job. Well, then, what? How did they overturn the conviction? They just said that, in their opinion, the evidence was circumstantial. Well,
they might as well just say, I'm an ally and I won't stand for it.
Right. Well, isn't that the jury's job to decide if it's circumstantial? Sure is, 100%. Absolutely. In our system, the jury decides that. So why did she? It's like when the kid in Big Daddy always wins the card game and they ask him what the name of the game is and he goes, I win. That's the judge. It's like, well, then why do you get to overturn the conviction? You have nothing to do with it. Because I win. It's like you said. Just say you're an ally.
Say you're an ally.
So now you're learning that the Somali fraud thing, a lot of these people have businesses across the board. They're all just such great entrepreneurs is all it is.
They've received
honestly, they're so damn successful. I can't imagine they don't come from a first world country.
Never a hardware store, never a halal market.
And they've received $10.2 million since 2022. Oh. The only thing she's charged with so far is running a fraudulent meal site at that daycare during the pandemic and collecting more than $1 million in taxpayer money for that.
So they don't have her for the daycare. They don't have her for the autism center. They don't have her for the home health care. They just have her for food service at the daycare.
So forget the fact that the fraudulent daycare doesn't exist. We're just going after you for the fact that you fraudulently fed children that you don't actually see at your fraudulent daycare.
Unbelievable.
After claiming to serve 476,000 meals to kids. The group home is still licensed with the state and receiving money as late as a couple weeks ago. Minneapolis Autism Center last received money in January and prior to this year was not required to be licensed in the state.
Dude.
So our fucking state is paying like child care centers that aren't even licensed. Like you don't need to have a license. You just say you look after kids and we'll give you money. What the fuck?
This is what I mean. Like people are like, what's wrong with your state? They're so inept. They're not inept. This is a choice they're making.
They're doing it deliberately.
They're choosing not to check in on these people. It's not like they're doing their job and they're really bad at it. They're not even trying. Lou Ragoose can open a book and he goes, oh, I found a shitload of fraud. See, this is why I hate Nick Shirley so much and why he's clearly a plant. Lou Ragoose is doing actual reporting. He's digging in. He's looking at the numbers. He's sitting in his car. He's reporting it back to you. He's digging in. He's looking at the web of connected companies and all this other stuff. Nick Shirley goes with a bunch of IDF guys and knocks on Somali's door and goes, yeah, show me all your kids. Oh, this is fraud. Nick Shirley's retarded. By the way, Nick Shirley was getting dragged on Twitter yesterday.
Okay.
Because, oh, God, it was a word. You know how Nick Shirley can't speak English and he talks like a retard?
Yeah, that's one of the things I relate to him on.
Apparently, he types like he talks. So he's he's like those black people on Twitter who say finna. They type finna.
Oh, no.
What was the word he used? Oh, it was so bad. I'll be able to pull it up here in just a second. I was hoping it would come to me. Nick Shirley. Spelling. Oh, God, I wish I would have retweeted it yesterday. Shoot. Nick Shirley lands in California. Shit. Oh, man. Nick Shirley. Grammar? God damn it. Oh, stop saying goddamn. Shoot. Here it is. So it was about, the word, hey, Johnny, what's that word where you're white and you think white people are better than everybody and supreme to them?
Fact.
You're a white. I left that too open-ended. That one's on me. You know what? Look, you're not wrong, but it's not the word we were looking for.
Oh, you mean the politically correct term? Oh, that's white supremacy? Supremacy?
Okay, so if you are someone who engages in white supremacy, you would be
a white supremacist.
What's that last word?
Supremacist.
One more time, I'm not used to it.
White supremacist?
Perfect. Nailed it. Bingo. All right. You're like the guy in Inglorious Bastards. We're like, Dominic DeCoco. I'm like, one more time. Dominic DeCoco. One more time. Dominic DeCoco. Bravo. All right. Nick Shirley was talking about this Jake Lang thing, and we have an expose on Jake Lang today. He's a Fed for sure. Jake Lang's a Jewish douche. So he wanted to rip on Zoran Mamdani. Obviously, Jake Lang was there stirring shit up in New York this weekend, and a couple of Muslims literally threw bombs at him like it's fucking Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Like, they're just throwing, like they were, and I saw the bombs. They almost look like the cartoon bomb with the wick and everything else. So Nick Shirley went viral yesterday because he wanted to make a big point about Zoran Mamdani. Johnny, can you read that? Is it big enough?
Supremacist?
What read the whole sentence.
Zoran Mamdani will call Jake Lang a white supremacist? That's not how you spell.
No. You're right. That's not how you spell supremacist, but it is how Nick Shirley says the word white supremacist. So Nick Shirley is so stupid that he actually spells the way his dumb mouth talks.
Okay, yeah, this guy's totally a plant. He's dumber than me.
He's dumber than a bag of hammers. Oh, man. So that was Nick Shirley yesterday. All right, real quick, let's wrap up this Lou Ragoose report. He deserves it. He did some good work here. And again, he did good work because unlike anyone else, he just looked. That's it.
And it's not getting put on primetime air because apparently nobody cares. No. And by nobody, I mean the news.
The news.
Future Leaders Early Learning Center closed in January. It's now being run by a different owner who calls it Leaders Daycare.
Oh.
Well,
then it's totally fine, and they're not defrauding anyone. They changed the name. You see, Johnny, it's now called Istanbul.
Oh.
So
I thought it was Constantinople.
It's no longer Constantinople. It's that's old-timey shit. All right, let's go to a couple of people here. We've got Joey Caravello with $2. Keeping it on point. Johnny, tell Aaron about the time Adam Sandler made out with you. Just say Adam Sandler made out with you.
I was feeling gay. What was I supposed to do?
That's a cool story, man. That's amazing. Yep. Chips and Diff says, how about Just Kidding Daycare LLC? Dude, I see a window for you, but you got to do it in blackface.
Yeah, I'm going to have to change my name to Muhammad.
They won't even look. It's like camouflage.
Right? Yeah, I'll put it on the paperwork. They'll never. And then when they go looking for Muhammad, and they find me, they're going to be like, oh, you're not the guy we're looking for. I'm like, right, my name's Johnny, and just move on.
Reformed Rapscallion says $2 million scam. Wow, clutch all the pearls. Now check what corporations do. No, it wasn't 2 million. They added it all up. It was like 10. And it's
it was 10 from one from another, and like 2. So it's like 13 or 14 altogether. Yeah. And this is one person, one human being. One group. There's other groups that have taken just as much. Like you add it all together, it will add up.
But he says, now check what corporations do. Right. But I feel like this show has built up enough goodwill saying that we should be hanging CEOs as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
let's get them all. Like, if you want to end, like, people are like, oh, stop all this welfare. It's like, right, stop welfare for people that are living on the dole. But let's start with the biggest welfare, corporations.
Boys, you don't have to fight. We hate everybody. Let's continue on with the show. I just wanted to share a cute little relatable story to my life about my children and I casting spells on each other in an alleged Christian household. All right, you want me to go to something more wholesome? You want to see the latest Erika Kirk video that they dug up?
Which, her dudes in hotel rooms? What's the new
one? Whoa.
No. Kissing dudes outside of hotel rooms was the last I heard of, like, look, while she was with Charlie.
Wait, what? I didn't see that one.
Dude, photos of, like, again, photos. I don't know if they were AI or not, but, like, supposedly, Charlie Kirk's lady may have been stepping out on. That's the last I heard about shocking Erika Kirk videos.
Well, the first thing I do now with stuff like this is I check with Grok or somewhere else to see if it's real or if it's AI.
Yeah.
So this one is real. This is Erika Kirk in her Miss Arizona interview. Remember when she was Miss USA Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
This was her Miss Arizona interview. Now, remember, Erika Kirk has always been a trad Christian, solid moral conservative, right?
That's what we've been told.
Down for the cause, traditional, decent, God-fearing woman. This is her giving an interview for Miss Arizona. This is Erika Fransby. I want you to tell me if this sounds like a trad-based Christian conservative woman. Here we go.
I have respect for the individuals that are in the pornography industry, not because they're degrading women or anything like that, but because that's their field and they are professionals. So
I don't know if you know, God just calls those ladies whores.
I can't speak for God, certainly, but I will say this. Take religion completely out of it. If you're going to be Miss Trad Mom based conservative lady, and remember, she said she was like that her whole life. She didn't date very much. We found out that was a lie. But now all of a sudden we're simping for porn chicks.
It's almost like she does what she needs to get what she's after.
Right? It sounds like this chick has been on a journey of whatever the fuck they tell me to say.
they are professionals, so I give them credit for being able to have a job and make money and stimulate the economy that way.
They're stimulating
something.
Oh, God. It's almost like the people who programmed Erika Kirk couldn't decide if they wanted her to destabilize the youth or if they wanted her to be trad Christian righty lady. So they were like, this was during the formative years of her programming. And they're like, you know what? Simp for porn chicks, just in case we want you to go down a different road at some point. And then when they saw Charlie Kirk, they're like, oh shit, we need to deploy the Fransby. We need to deploy the Erika monster. Make her like really trad and like super based and make it someone that Charlie would like. But didn't she go out in New York and party all the time with her cousin who was part of the Rosen crime family or related to the Rosen crime family? Yeah. She did that. But we're just going to totally whitewash that. We'll have her give a couple of interviews where she said she never dated and she just loved coffee and praying all the time. Okay, cool. What if it comes up? Don't worry. If it comes up, we'll just blow her husband's head off. Oh, you got everything figured out, don't you?
But I think that there needs to be a way to shield it from the overall public, such as the kids. Keep it away from
Hey, you know how you can keep porn away from the public, Johnny?
How?
You can ban it and make it not something women can do for a living. And by the way, for her to say she supports the women in that industry, you understand how abused and beat up and taken advantage of and drugged and all that stuff they are in that industry?
Yeah, most of the women in that industry probably not getting the best best experience as an employee. It's not like, oh, I'm so happy I got my SAG card and it's a different kind of SAG. But
SAG is what your labias do. It's not the Screen Actors Guild. You're not getting a SAG-AFTRA card. You're getting a vagioplasty card.
You get a SAG card when they prolapse your rectum.
Yeah. Adriana Chechik has a lot of SAG cards.
from them, but in general, that's a tough one. I really have to say that we live in a free country, so if you want to watch it, turn on your pay-per-view. If not, then why don't you turn on something else that's a little bit more G-rated?
This is the most like bimbo take I've ever heard.
If you're not okay with it, don't watch it. Well, but what if we have people who are okay with it and they're okay with watching it, and then they live in an environment like, again, that you're leaving the window way too open here.
Right. And you're leaving it open for people to take advantage of underage people as well.
Yeah.
So,
hey, at least the women are never trafficked in that industry.
Look, man, if this is like some far lefty, like, let's say, if Anna Kasparian was a beauty queen at some point and she was super far left and she said shit like this, you couldn't really bust Anna Kasparian's balls about that. It's not hypocritical. She's, pro-woman's right to choose what she wants to do and all that stuff. I'm just saying, if you're going to play this character of this based mom, trad Christian woman, where the hell did this come from? This is like the most basic college sophomore middle of the road, lukewarm take you could I mean, it's a basic blonde bimbo beauty queen answer.
It's almost like someone wrote it for her.
Should marijuana be legalized? All right, here we go. Johnny, what's the trad mom Christian? And remember, she did say that she was a traditional Christian before she met Charlie. So to say that like, oh, she was younger and she was doing modeling. No. She said
that doesn't fit the story we've heard.
Right. So here we go. So what should her take on marijuana be if she's all trad and shit?
She should be against it. She should say it's an illegal substance. Shouldn't be used.
I would agree with you. Let's see.
I do think it should be legalized.
Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, well, in fairness, this wasn't Erika Kirk, Johnny.
Oh, who is this?
This was Erica Fransby. Maybe Charlie dicked that sinner right out of her.
So
He certainly tried.
He tried.
This miniature journey with me for just a second, and instead of looking at the negative side, let's look at the positive side real quick. After watching several documentaries, I do think it should be legalized because it not only has some remedies to some modern day medicines that we use, but it also can be taxed so we can get some extra.
Oh, that's what we love.
That's a super trad wife thing. Let's tax it because you know what we got to do? We got to get more money into that government.
Yeah.
Better government.
Let's legalize sin so we can tax it. That's the trad Christian conservative thing to say. Hey, you know what doesn't make us complicit in a horrible thing that we consider sinful? Using it to make money.
Is she running for Miss USA in Arizona or Colorado? Jesus.
She's running for a CIA plant of whatever you need me to be.
Stimulus money, just a thought. And on top of that, I think that as our country is evolving and things are happening around the world, we really need to start taking into consideration just some alternatives to things. So I think we need to see both sides of this. So open dialogue, I'm all for it.
I just want to point out real quick, the person who said those things is now the CEO of one of the largest conservative think tanks in the country.
Right? And she only got that job because of her stellar qualifications of being alive after Charlie wasn't.
Yeah. Veldrain with $1 says, I'm crushing their heads. All right, thank you. $5 from Shuli Madoff says, you two could make a great wrestling tag team. You could be Dwight Schrute and Cousin Mose. I think he meant to say that differently. Maybe I did Shuli Madoff with another $2 says, Erika is a Zionist, enough said. Yeah, it's almost like she just kind of takes whatever position they need her to get people to think a certain way. Oh, she also made commercials with the CIA.
Come on, man. Can't, how are you supposed to make jokes when reality is this fucking ridiculous?
No, she made, because her mom's company contracted with the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security, so she helped make.
I don't know then why would people say she's a Zionist just because she has family members in the Department of Defense and Central Intelligence connections? Why would she somehow?
Well, I mean, you're right. That would be bullshit. Like, let's say her dad was one of the big muckety mucks for Raytheon in Tel Aviv. Then you could say something's up.
Right. But that's not a thing.
Let me go. Hold on. Let me check something. Oh, yeah. It turns out he's one of the head muckety mucks for Raytheon over in Tel Aviv.
All right. Never mind. She's a Zionist.
I had no idea. Oh, by the way, have you ever seen Charlie Kirk's take on going to war with Iran?
No. I know he was not pro-Israel very vocally at the end there, which was interesting.
This is Charlie Kirk on Iran last summer. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you're going to have to earn our trust on this one. This is more Israel pushing for Iran, but is that America's problem? That's a question. I mean, maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is, you know what? They were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about Syria. They were wrong about Afghanistan. They were wrong about the Taliban. They were wrong about Libya. They were wrong about the Arab Spring. They were wrong about Yemen. They were wrong about the Arabian Peninsula. They were wrong about the 9/11 hijackers being Saudi Arabian. But hey, 10th time's a charm. This time we're actually right. Yeah, you're going to have to earn our trust on this one.
So he says that it's Israel's war He says that we've been full of shit and wrong about everything else, and that you're going to have to earn our trust on this one. So not only was Charlie Kirk against and hesitant the idea of going into Iran, but he was dickish about it.
Yeah, he kind of has a very interesting viewpoint of all of our interactions in the Middle East overall. Apparently, according to him, we did it at behest of another country and it got lied into him. I mean, name one time weapons of mass destruction that was the thing.
Yeah, well, you're not going to believe this, but last week, Turning Point USA came out in favor of Donald Trump's strikes in Iran. So, hey,
Charlie changed his mind.
I'm sorry. Charlie, yeah. Oh, I forgot you were on vacation. Charlie Kirk got shot and killed last year. And then we bombed Iran, and Turning Point was all for it.
Dude, come on, man.
And
they don't even hide it anymore.
His wife thinks whores are cool. Well, I guess
it's just out in the open.
I guess
we used to say, "Do it in front of us," and we'd respect. Now I don't. No.
Honestly, of course, his wife is for whores. I mean, her whole organization is full of them.
She kind of is one, just for a very specific clientele.
Right.
She knows her worth.
Do you think if Charlie could come back now, he would go into that tent and say, "Hey, could you give me a handheld for today?"
Oh, God. I'm going to do this one with a bullhorn that I brought myself.
I actually, hey, Charlie, can we get you laved up? Oh, I brought a Mr. Microphone. I just, I got a bad feeling.
Works with whatever you got, man.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about it.
Even the car radio.
I got this from the Sharper Image. It's a built-in karaoke mic. I can play music from it, too. Just figured I'd use that today.
Never believe this. I found the last open Radio Shack. The guy inside is like a Japanese World War II vet. He doesn't know the war's over.
Yeah. I actually, I got my kids McDonald's Happy Meals, and they got these mini megaphones, and they vibrate like hell when you yell into them, but I'm going to use that today. No offense,
I'm just going to roll up this paper and just do it through that.
Charlie Kirk's last thing, if he doesn't get killed, he goes, and now the yak. We're never hitting a goal early again, are we?
Probably not.
I didn't
really
think so.
Torpedoing this
I really
one.
didn't think so.